Damn it, I was about to start the show after Bam left. Um, anyways, hello humans. This is your power report for the 18th of September 2025. I'm Dan. Bam is here with me right here. I weak. It has been. It has been one. If I seem a little bit more flustered and unprepared than usual, it's because I am. I've been retooling some of the like structure of the show, and I think we're in a good place. But so it's going to be a good one, but we're going to be kind of reeling it a little bit old school, but with a little bit more structure. Anyways, I'm Dan. Bam is with you here. Before I let him even speak, I just want to say no. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well.
You're loud, crispy.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well as we slide further and further into no democracy.
That's why they call me number one, Bam, because I went after the First Amendment. Number one, Donald. Yeah. I feel like every other amendment has been attacked, so of course we're getting to the First Amendment. And there have been these moments where you've seen right-wing calls for cancel culture, which is why in covering this whole like cancel culture thing from its creation, let's say, I won't even say inception, I'll just say like manufacture. I've constantly been hammering home this point, like cancel culture doesn't exist. Cancel culture doesn't exist. Who it does exist for are usually marginalized people with no power who get historically and up to this minute mobs coming after them for just expressing their rights ostensibly. So yeah, it is a it's been very interesting. I know some people who have like gotten called into their workplaces because of Charlie Kirk related things or things that just seemed to be perceived as not deferential enough to Charlie Kirk. And I'm not even usually saying that with my like classical, you've known Dan from the internet and his like, quips, and he'll like use certain words to like mean certain comedy. No, it's literally, you posted these clips of Charlie Kirk with the caption, "I'm sorry about his wife and his kids, and that should never happen to anyone. this is the kind of person that Charlie Kirk was for those who are just learning who he was. Like I'm talking the most anonymous, like from that all the way up to Nekosi, like people are getting like called up for like no reason. It is the most McCarthyite week, let alone pretty much any period in history I've lived through in this country. And it's kind of just been wild to see. And I won't say the capitulation is unsurprising, but I think the scale and the speed with which it's coming from the same people who have been crying about cancel culture for 10 or 15 years is, even them, that's not surprising, but it gives me a lot of, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but it gives me a lot of peace, right? Because I've been saying, and we've been saying that give them the opportunity to like, you know, have this magical cancel culture gun and they will use it with the quickness. And this week has just been like a full-on example of that, where like they have all the control of everything and they're using it to go after their political enemies, which is like not even just a direct Donald Trump quote, it's direct Donald Trump action and what Stephen Miller and all these other people are doing. And you know, you have some voices on the right who are fracturing, but I mean, who cares? Like the right wing is bloodthirsty right now, so that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is it is crazy to see. I mean, it's also funny because I'm like, I mean, I knew Charlie Kirk was big, but I didn't know he was that big. Like, I'm like, you guys really care about this fool that much? Like,
I mean, he's not. Is the thing is that he's big in right-wing political internet circles, but like, bam, we're talking about less than 2.5% of the country, most likely, who like genuinely knew who Charlie Kirk was before then. And then you have certain political figures, and then you have kind of like the treatment that he's getting from, you know, there's Ezra Klein who wrote an article in the New York Times saying like Charlie Kirk was doing politics the right way. And Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a response that was basically like, no, dumbass. But like that response by like, oh, I don't know Charlie Kirk, but I follow Ezra Klein, and I'm like, oh wow, this person died, and you know, he was just talking and using freedom of speech, and so you know, I don't like that. People shouldn't be murdered for their freedom of speech. So I guess we're just gonna have to silence people and you know, commit economic terror on them, commit you know, social terror on them. We'll have to do that, you know, in order to make sure that we protect freedom of speech for the regime, essentially.
right. And it's funny because, like, I mean, I don't follow anybody on the right like that. The only way I'm going to see what they're saying is if someone on the left is covering it. But I'm also like wondering, when these people that loved him, are they posting clips of things he said that were like nice? You know what I mean? Like what are the nice things that he said about whatever that they're able to post and be like, no, they're trying to paint him as this evil racist, but look what he said here. Like, no, he wasn't like that. Here he was singing.
And it's like a quote where he's like, I think we should reinstate Jim Crow.
Right. I'm just like, what?
Paraphrasing, like pretty much the quote. Yeah.
Right. And also, you know, the thing is, like, these people, Trump and Pam Bondi and all these Stephen Miller, like, you know, they're never putting themselves in a situation very often where someone can challenge them. Because I saw some quote today from the guy that produced his show saying that he wouldn't have wanted South Park to take that episode down. Like, at the very least, I mean, I don't know like Charlie Kirk like that. I know he's a racist asshole, but it seemed like at the very least, he was exercising his First Amendment with his job. And, you know, although he was just a puppet for right-wing billionaires and millionaires, he did that and he made a good living for himself. What sense does it make to be like, well, this guy was all about the First Amendment, so now we're going to take it away for people. Like, he was talking shit and clowning all kinds of people and saying whatever the hell he wanted. And it's just, like, I don't believe, I'm starting to see so many conspiracies about this. Like I starting to see so many. Israel killed him. The Trump administration killed him for various reasons. Like, either it's a Reichstag fire to like start the whole shit, or it's just a distraction from Epstein, and then like the whole Israel thing or whatever. But either way, like, it just doesn't make sense to say this guy who was killed for whatever reason was doing his First Amendment thing. So when he gets killed, we're gonna, like, from their perspective, tarnish his legacy. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, like, so you said a couple of things there. Like, to get back to the first point you made that I interrupted you on the first time, like, Charlie Kirk doesn't. What ties both these points together is that we're very clearly past Charlie Kirk the person, and now we're at Charlie Kirk.
Well, he's a ghost.
Well, depending on which avatar you prefer, the blue person James Cameron one or the, Nickelodeon anime one. Like, I think they're both ghosts. Like, just in a different. Anyways, we've gone from Charlie Kirk the like person, and like, go with me here, but Charlie Kirk the avatar, Charlie Kirk the
right,
because he can't speak for himself. And again, I'm not even trying to be funny here. People can just project onto him whatever they want to.
Right.
And so he can be used for that sort of end. And, like, I kind of liken this to how the left responded to Michael Brooks and his passing. And, like, there are all these other different stories. And it was kind of like a rallying cry for a lot of different people on the left to, like, think about what they were doing. But I mean, that just goes to show you that, like, there's Bella Hadid retweeted a video of Michael Brooks, and that was the extent of like his reaching into like the mainstream like legacy of things, right? So like it's just sort of it's not it's no comparison to what the right wing does, but like the main point, Bam, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Charlie Kirk was a relatively unknown figure. Now they want to martyr him, create him into this like mythical sort of being that he wasn't. To like,
right.
There's always this extent to where you wonder how much right-wing influencers really do believe the sauce they're like selling, or if they remember the original reason they got into it, which was, yes, America has freedom of speech, which is an incredible marketing opportunity for me because I can go onto college campuses and I can talk to people who like still smell like SAT prep note cards, who are just like walking around campus, who haven't formed opinions. And I can just say, Black people cause more crime. Why don't you believe that? And like, you just do these non sequiturs, these like one hitters for the internet. And it works really well for social media, which is why college has never emulated social media. Like, it's a place we're supposed to learn things and do like deep research, and not like satiate your attention span with scrolls every 10 or 15 seconds to new different topics. Like, you're supposed to do deep thinking in it. Charlie Kirk wasn't doing deep thinking. He wasn't doing debate. He wasn't doing like, oh, you made a good point, you like out debated me here, I'm going to like reevaluate this and like come back with. No, there wasn't some like actual exchange of discussion. It was a very I'll go there. Like, it was a very like European colonial idea of debate. It's like a no. Yes, I invited you here to speak, but you're going to be listening to me talk at you the whole time, and it will be your privilege if I allow you to speak. Sort of like Bam on Power Report. But it's very much, that's their idea of freedom of speech, and that was the Steven Crowder change my mind thing. That was Ben Shapiro's campus thing. It was Milo. All of them. It's I'm going to dress this up and make it look like a debate. And I'm going to do all the pomp and circumstance and, the Robert's Rules of Order and all that speech and debate bullshit. But I'm using the First Amendment as a marketing opportunity for myself. And I'm just like sprinkling the crack on afterwards. Like, I'll figure out the politics and the rest of the stuff. And it turns out, like the internet, the most inflammatory thing works. And so they're like, we'll walk up against the line to natalism and the Great Replacement Theory, and let's play the hits. The immigrants are taking your jobs, and all these other different things. Like, I keep coming back to, they created the conditions for this, and some of them may like know and don't want to admit it. Like Steven Crowder was just on Piers Morgan saying, I did that like change my mind thing a little bit earlier than Charlie Kirk did, which is fair. And Steven Crowder was saying, and I don't know how, let's take it as face value. I don't know how genuine he's being or honest he's being, but he was on Piers Morgan saying, I should have been more honest with how dangerous and how many death threats I was getting while doing that change my mind thing, because I had milkshakes thrown at me. I had all these, and it was, we're going back to this Andy No stuff, right? But that's the thing, is that they know. And let me go back, like, because I did this for so long. So I know for a fact that Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder know that they're not engaging in debate. They know that they're engaging in provocation to create content and get clicks and do the whole, like, it was the meme, Ben Shapiro destroys terminally ill cancer patient. Like, that's the bit. And the way it sells and the way that it gains legitimacy, the way it kind of like Trojan horses its way into polite society, is because liberals who don't pay attention, like Ezra Klein, liberals who are very far removed from the types of people who, when these clowns do come around to college campuses and you do accidentally take the bait or you try to take them down, you do a good job, then you get death threats, you get harassment online, you get doxxed, you get people making fun of you at best. Like, it's the internet, of course, but like, these things were meant to scorn and mock people who didn't fit their, traditional Christian 50s diner version of America inside of their head. So like, it's all, Charlie Kirk served his purpose. Now Charlie Kirk can mean anything. Charlie Kirk is kind of just the Republican Party, especially under Trump. It means whatever is convenient for the moment. And if it's not convenient, I'm just going to toss it aside so Donald Trump, can focus on what's really important to me, crown molding. Decorations and gold.
Right. Well, the thing is too, like, just this moment. I mean, and I don't know how serious they are, how long it's going to last. But just seeing the Trump administration take this line after his death, like, Donald Trump didn't even comment on those Democratic politicians from Minnesota. Like, he didn't even have a comment, like, these people don't care. There's nothing genuine. And
Charlie Kirk had a comment along with a lot of other right wingers and said it was a hoax done by a left winger.
Right. I mean, they probably will say if there was a Holocaust, the left did it. Like, they'll just blame the left for everything. But
they already say, hey, they're called National Socialists.
Right,
duh,
exactly.
Of course, the Nazis were on the left. And someone made a good joke that was like, okay, come to the bathroom with me. Look, down there. It's a urinal cake. Eat up. Here's a fork and knife. What? It's a cake. I'm just like, that's the best example.
That's great. But it's just like I was saying, I don't know how serious the Trump administration is gonna go with this, like, attack on people making fun of Charlie Kirk, or not even making fun of him, because the clip that Jimmy Kimmel had, I was like, where was the part that they were mad about? Like, I did not see it, but whatever. It's just, we'll see how far they take it. And, they're saying that they're going to deport anybody who's not a citizen that isn't nice about Charlie Kirk. Now, granted, Charlie Kirk death is not going to last that long. Like a month from now, like you can say whatever you want, most likely, because nobody cares anymore. But just that idea that, this person was killed. And if you post clips of what he said, then you are up for some kind of legal scrutiny. What happens when somebody else with more status passes away? Like, I don't know, if JD Vance falls down the stairs or something. Like, what? Like, how far are they willing to take this in these unprecedented?
Hold on, I got a pack of dice if we want to play this game. Honestly, so let's see if we roll. Huh?
That's the dice Charlie Kirk rolled, and he didn't hit. He didn't hit. I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm saying. So the snake eyes mean,
you are crapped out.
Does that mean Soprano season finale? Like series finale or what? No, yeah, but so a lot of things you said there were totally correct. Like this is already dying out, right? Like the first person who wanted, and like these are the things that like as I'm looking at the right wing response to this, and as like the days go by and this starts to kind of like fade away into the news cycle, I'm like the human side of me is like, some might say, coming back. And I'm just going, every single one of these people who like Charlie Kirk busted his ass for, he didn't do it for a noble reason. He barely, like he did it for money, and he did it for like his own perceived like political power and the belief that he was spreading like a, like a Christian, I think is a true believer. Like, but this belief that he was spreading this like Christian, Republican, conservative sort of thing and making that resonate within the country. And that he was like wildly successful doing that. I think that's what really drove him. And you would think that, Trump, who owes a lot of his support to like younger, more conservative voters who Turning Point Action through Turning Point USA was a really big role in recruiting for, among other organizations. If we're going to talk about offensive things Charlie Kirk said, let me double down. Charlie Kirk is the Stacey Abrams of MAGA.
Oh, for sure. And I'll say this, like, I don't think that he was there to push like Christianity or conservatism. I think his sole purpose was to make young men more homophobic and sexist and make young white men more racist, along with the other two. Like, I think that's all he was there, was to push hate and to like make being hateful more mainstream. Like,
yes, Bam. I said Christianity or conservatism.
Like, yeah, like he was just there.
I'm using the college words. You're just being right. Correct. Yeah, like no, it's in the same thing. And I say Kirk is a true believer because just as we have 4K, like prime vision footage of his final moments of life, we have 720p double cam sitcom views of his time in high school and his time in college. Remember, he's a college dropout. I don't even know if he went to college even, but like he was doing this college, or like he was doing this let me make political action groups and organizing thing when he was 17 or 18, which is, I was about to enter that space around the same age too. It's when you're young and kind of curious or whatever. Videos of him being an edgelord are even younger than that. So like, I don't think he's like Candace Owens in a different world is like getting daytime Emmys on All My Children or some shit because like she's acting. I don't really know what she's doing from any given time. All right.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But and like it's because true believers are really hard to come by on the right wing. But Charlie Kirk really was a true believer. And I say all that to say, to see how quickly all these right wingers are willing to just like throw him, like, kind of discard him. Like his wife, before the body was cold, was already like talking about, I'm taking over TP USA. We're going to be even badder, even meaner. They're never gonna forget you, Charlie. We're gonna avenge you. All this different stuff.
And it's like, yeah, good luck. Like, I don't think that you're actually the inheritor of that company. Like, there is another man that owns that shit. It's not you, sweetie.
Brian Kilmeade on Fox News in the A Block. We have to take down the rhetoric that the left is pushing on this country, dividing us and making it more violent. And we need to crack down, do everything we can in the government to do so. B segment on Fox News, Brian Kilmeade. Let's just kill homeless people. Just, why not? Like, just forcibly inject them. Like, just kill them. Like, quote, we should just forcibly inject them. Like, just kill them. Why not? End quote. Like, there's that one black guy on Fox News who just does the, like, he's on yes'em duty. And he was like, yes'em.
Yeah.
Even for that one, he was like, yeah.
Because he was saying at first, he was like, yeah, we got to do something about homelessness and mental illness. And he's like, yeah, let's lethally inject them. Like, what?
Yeah, he was like, he had to stop himself mid yes'em.
Huh?
And the lady was like trying to be like, whoa, let's.
Right. But yeah, like the whole, I mean, once again, like, I don't know how much Charlie Kirk himself influenced young people like himself, because it's obviously a mix of like, because I do feel like he was like he's selling, like, not selling, he's like passing out like MAGA hats at his stuff. Like, he's like kind of like mainstreamy, whereas like a lot of these like young right wingers are like in like internet meme culture and stuff, and that's not Charlie Kirk for real. Like, he's I
was gonna say, like, Charlie Kirk was internet culture and really memey. If you look back at the first Trump administration, I mean, that whole Turning Points USA meme where it's like Charlie Kirk doing something, and it's like, hey, you claim you're a socialist, but you use an iPhone. Isn't that weird? And I was like, that sort of thing. Someone reminded me that one of the earliest like Turning Point USA skits before they, settled on the sort of like change my mind, debate, prove me wrong, I'm gonna sit in a tent and yell at college students type thing. I believe Charlie Kirk did like a performance stunt with some other people in TPUSA where they were like on the campus quad in diapers.
What the hell?
And like there may have been milk involved. Like I honestly, like they were doing the type of shit that you would expect from a D-tier conservative influencer who's just trying to like do weird shit to get attention. Like basically, when the prank videos stopped getting the hits and the views like they used to, then you do a prank video as a right winger, and that's how you pivot. Like, I'm telling you, the Dan from the Internet School of Online Media, I could teach classes down at Medgar Evers on this. But I won't, because we don't need more. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, and once again, like I don't know a whole lot about him, but when I just see him, like you're passing out like MAGA stuff, it's like you're talking about like when the whole Epstein stuff came out, he's like talking about his contacts in the administration and stuff, and it's like, okay, dude, like you are not like cool anymore, kind of. I don't know, like you're like with the big wigs, I guess now, but it is like a big pot of and sadly, like I'm gonna say this, and it's unfortunate, but I do believe it. It is good, especially like in a college setting. It won't take much for like a young white dude to turn that way. Like any kind of aggrievement politics is like, oh yeah, like there is some freaking like black girl in the class that's like getting better grades than me, and then that's it.
I mean, bam, again, like I feel like you're describing the real thing, and I've got the $5 word for it. You're just saying that college campuses are perfect places for men to, turn conservative like Charlie Kirk anyways through all these other different experiences. And I'm just like, yeah, no, there's fraternities in the college. Like it's like built into the system. It's part of the marketing of the college, Greek life. It's built into the system that you're going to have a bunch of like white men who are test driving misogyny.
Yeah, they've already test drove it in high school, actually, but they're getting the language for it in college, and that's where somebody like Charlie Kirk comes in to like somewhat intellectualize these things. Like, take it from just being angry to like, oh, this is like a political view. Like, I can sound it like I can put this on my Tinder bio now, like that kind of thing.
I encourage bigots to continue being as loud as possible on your Tinder bio. Signed, all the women and queers of America.
Yeah. So, I mean, anyway, I mean, the dude's dead now, and we're having the administration saying that they're coming for people. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it is scary, just that response, because they could still do it. Or
I think it's going to come in waves.
Yeah, or just like depends on what else happens. Like, what's the thing that'll happen to make them actually do it if they don't do it now, or they could do it now. Who knows? Like,
yeah,
I don't feel scared. I don't feel scared here on Power Report. Like, it ain't but 12 people listen to this, but but like, I don't really watch Majority Report, but like, and I'm like, I don't know like how much they were having jokes. So like, I don't know, like, were they having jokes? I don't know, but someone like Sam Cedar, like, is a big guy. Like, would it affect him?
Well, I think it's less of an issue because it's like, will it affect like Matt Leck, who is a producer on the Majority?
Well, they don't even see his face.
He said something. well, but he's okay. Let's play this ridiculous game out because, like, you and I are not going to care in 10 seconds for this reason. If Matt Leck, a producer who has his own show and it's he's fairly visible and appears on the camera pretty often, and is a lot visible on social media. If he says something about Charlie Kirk, and they go, "I'm going to call your boss," they're just going to record. They're just going to record the voicemail and play on the show and turn it into content, right? Like, there's a difference between that and, yeah, if you're like a streamer with any sort of like thing on social media, or if you're not, like Power Report, who are the bosses? All of us, right? Like, it gets to the the fact that for smaller shows and for a lot of other different things, or just for people popping off online in between halftime for their favorite sporting event they're watching on TV, right? They just pop off on shit like any other red-blooded American does. And then their job at Dunder Mifflin or whatever, they get a call in the morning and it's like, "Oh, we saw some post on your social media and we don't know who is this Charlie? It seemed like he was just assassinated for speaking to people like Martin Luther King. Why would you say this bad thing about Martin Luther King?"
Sure.
and the point of contention will be like someone on the internet who reposted a video of Charlie Kirk saying Martin Luther King was a terrible person who lied to people and didn't
Well, I'll just say anybody who does get caught up for anything they said online, just deny it. Say somebody had your phone or whatever. Just deny it.
In the words of Trump, it's not real, and even if it was real, I would just say it's AI.
something. Just say, "Oh, I didn't type that." Like, what?
That's not me.
That's not me.
What?
Like, no. Like, somebody must have took my phone. I did not type that.
Yeah, nope. And like, people have parasocial relationships, so like, I'm fine. Like, I've been through these rodeos before. My first doxing and hacking attempt was 11 years ago. So I've been through this rodeo before. Believe me, my shit's tight. So like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Even at my worst, I know what my line is to how I can appear on the internet and what I can't do on the internet. A lot of the rest of y'all aren't that on game. Like, y'all know ball like that. Okay. So This is this is the Adult Swim. All the kids got to get out now. And frankly, this is a real deep waters. The adults probably got to get out too. Um, I think this is going to happen in waves. Like we saw during the first Trump administration, the National Guard deployments during the George Floyd protests. Sorry, last thing. Congratulations to Charlie Kirk for 8 days fentanyl free. But anyways, during the George Floyd protests, the Trump deployed the National Guard. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, and we have this whole different thing. And there's that one guy in Seattle who got murked, but like, it didn't really go anywhere. People were like, yeah, dude, okay, you're going to be gone. Like, it was the end of his administration anyways. He kind of like blown out all the gas at this point. Now he's got room to burn, and he's done all these little tests of like, okay, now I've gone to deploy National Guard to LA in conjunction with ICE. Now I've been able to give ICE more money, and we can do some soft raids in Chicago, and then put National Guard in Memphis, Tennessee, and Washington, D.C., and then put ICE in New York City. But we'll figure out the National Guard situation for New York City another time. Like, he's doing all this. That's not to say it's going to be successful, but there's no counter thing to this, really. Like it's going to have to be the failures of incompetence to protect from like the natural progression of this. Of okay, we had this 1 week where it was McCarthyism on steroids, and we were just canceling hundreds of people, regular people left and right, people without real media careers, people from their regular jobs during a time when there's a weak job market, and it's getting very hard to hire people, especially people with like certain politically spicy takes and things like that. A couple of months are going to pass by, and then the next excuse is going to come. Truly, I sincerely mean this. I hope it doesn't mean more bloodshed. But the next excuse is going to come, like maybe you're going to have another close call, or maybe you're going to have someone get, hit when they're going outside at a restaurant or something, like hit with a cane or something, like, and then it's going to be like, okay, we've got to stop all the senseless violence. We're going to drop the mother of all bombs, UC Berkeley, and that should solve our like thing. Like, it's going to be like, okay, let's do a clampdown on college campuses because we're going to spin the wheel of minorities, transgender Filipinos with green hair. They're just going to run through that sort of thing all over again. And the liberals are going to capitulate, and the Democrats who are elected are going to be like, oh no, we can't do anything. And it'll only be like how serious conservatives and the rest of the country sort of takes them, and how much the Epstein files we know about, to either stop that or signal to Donald Trump and his administration, we can keep going further and further and further and further. And yeah, it's just going to be like this until minimum this time next year with the midterms, when he may want to cut it out because it'll be fresh in people's minds. Or, until the entire country falls apart.
I mean,
whichever comes first.
Right. I just want to say too, like the impact of just these few months of his administration have been really, really terrible and unprecedented. This is truly unlike anything I've ever witnessed. And this is anecdotal, but I was just hearing about this and it upset me a lot. But one of Jasmine's friends, I guess she's my friend too, but her parents self-deported recently back to Mexico, and they lived here for a long time. Because her mom was literally scared to leave the house. Like, she was genuinely afraid to leave her house for fear of ICE in Buena Park, California. It's unbelievable that this is the situation. Like, they moved back to Mexico. Like their whole family got disrupted because of this situation. There's still so many like street vendors that aren't coming out different areas. Like that's still the case. Like this situation is not like anything we've ever witnessed. And I'm so glad that Gaza's free now for these people. I'm so happy. Let me just say this. I really would love the people, because I'm sorry, I'm mad. I really would love the people that all they could think about was telling us how we don't need to vote for Biden or Kamala. That's what we should not do. Or just sit it out and don't care because of Gaza. I'm really happy that Gaza's doing so much better now for these idiots. Now you got people that literally are afraid to leave their home. And what's going to happen? I don't think it's happened yet. But what's going to happen? Like, I haven't heard about it. If somebody's heard about it, let me know. But what's going to happen is ICE is going to start showing up to the mosque. And there's so many people there that are not here legally or sitting on some expired visa of some sort. So many. They're going to start hanging out right outside of Juma on Friday at 2:00. Let me see your papers. And that's when you'll hear the uproar from that community. That's when you'll hear it. As of right now, it's whatever, I guess. And in the meantime, literally, like what's happening in Gaza is like they're literally doing Trump's plan, actually. Like the AI video that we saw, like they're doing that. So that's the situation. We have a president who, like, I mean, in that time, it was just like, yo, guys, like, you know, yeah, the option sucks, but like, do you see what this guy is? He doesn't believe in democracy. Who knows if he's going to leave? And the Project 2025 is insane. Do we realize that? And it breaks my heart to hear about somebody that lives a mile away from me being afraid to leave their home. Don't want to walk their dog because of this fucking president.
I'm very sorry to hear that about you and Jasmine's friend. And like, it's not an unjustifiable like, oh, you're watching the news a lot and you're getting scary. Like,
this is millions of people.
I'm also just this weekend down the street from what you're talking about in Huntington Beach, which should basically just be the story. Like, y'all know the drill.
Thank you for saying that, because that got a laugh out of me. Just saying Huntington Beach, I'm like, that's great. Like, that's what I needed to break the
anger. Enjoy it because we're getting right back there. But like, a fight broke out in downtown Huntington. I mean, honestly, I should have just said Huntington Beach at the time, because this has also been happening, unfortunately, since 10 years, but for the past 10 years. But because of this emboldening that, again, let me tell you, the Nazis didn't feel emboldened in Huntington Beach when Hillary was running. There wasn't something about Hillary that was like, finally, a good blonde-haired, blue-eyed white
from Arkansas.
They literally have the stars and bars in their state flag. And there's going to be meteors hitting Earth before they even have conversation about changing that. Arkansas is one of those states that was like, you know, we never got around to ratifying slavery. Oh, when we do that? 75 years ago. No. Anyways, so yeah, just this past weekend, there was a vigil for Charlie Kirk, and it turned into these, you know, neo-fascist. I don't even know if you call them neo-fascists. Like, what are they new? Now they've been around for 10 years. But yeah, you know, these fascists are protesting there. they're really feeling emboldened because they're not even masked anymore, right? They're just like out and doing their regular thing. And they're like beating on some guy. I don't know if he was like a part of them or like, like a different person like that, but they're showing out. And, I'm not sure where Huntington Beach police was. I know, Bam, you and I know the joke. That was just for us, okay? I'm not sure why they weren't there to break up the fight. That's a joke for us. That's a joke for us. I'm wondering why they would condone such a thing. Anyways, but to get back to all what you're saying, like,
wait. Well, say the slogan that they were chanting. They were chanting "White men fight back."
That's right. I forgot the slogan, but like, yeah, it was like "White men fight back."
Literally.
From the people that brought you, Jews will not replace us.
Literally.
And it's like, niggas warned about this. Like, niggas up to and including Kamala Harris.
Kinda.
I mean, she was mentioning Trump's like authoritarian sort of swing and pull, right? And I am of this, and this is in the backdrop of her doing a book tour, and people are saying like, oh, well, what more are you doing right now? And it's like, you know what? You lost an election. It's been less than a year since you lost that election. No one's trying to listen to you anyways, all right? Even Barack Obama right now, the best he's doing is like reposting op-eds from Republicans about how we need to tamper things down in the moment. Like, dude, just like post a playlist and get out of my life, right? People don't actually want to hear from these Democrats. Like, that's where a lot of the left, like, we're in agreement. But this idea that Zoran Mamdani, for example, is more successful or is less successful in a Donald Trump candidacy, a presidency. It's kind of hard to do that sort of like double net. I don't know, like, you're wish casting and creating this like second version of things. Kind of hard to really think about and like measure out there. But if the left wanted to do more than just complain online, and these are like online leftists, not the left online, because the left is doing stuff on the ground, and we're going to highlight that more on this show and going forward. But I told Bam I was like at this point very recently, and I've heard other people say this thing as well. Shut the fuck up, get off the internet and run for something then. Right? Like, if you're gonna be popping up all this good shit about like, oh, electoral is that ship has sailed, buddy. Like, if you're gonna be popping up all this shit about like, oh, no Democrat stands up for Gaza enough, or like, no, okay, go. City council is remarkably easy to like run for in most places that aren't major cities, and many major cities you can do a good job for running for it. Just like go to your local Democratic Party thing, notice that you are 40 years younger than the second youngest person there, and just talk twice. Go to 3 more meetings, you will run the Democratic Party, like, council in your area. That's it, man. There's a bunch of stories like this out there. But it is so... And then guess what? Maybe it's a hard head meets a soft ass situation where you pop off all that Gaza shit in liberal Kansas, which is a very red area of Kansas, by the way. And then you start to learn some political lessons, and then you shut up and you start like doing more stuff in the streets more. But at least it's gonna be a better, more worthwhile exercise that'll probably be even less stressful than spending time online retweeting people with animal emojis in their profile pictures who are saying Bernie Sanders, the first senator to call what's going on in Gaza a genocide, is not going far enough for me in standing up for the Palestinians. Meanwhile, you're 9 months into the Trump administration, and the famine that Biden and Bibi helped to midwife is being accelerated and actively made. Like, I don't know. If Bibi was trying to send mortar strikes to fucking Greta Thunberg under Biden or under Kamala, I think the left would be able to piss off Kamala or Biden about that. Like, okay, you're gonna let Bibi Netanyahu like start to drone strike, climate activists out here. Like, with Trump, it's like, yeah, we're gonna do a double tap, man. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. like Trump's response to, yo, there have been political assassinations. There's some anger on the right, on the left. How do you think we can get back to civility? His answer was literally, I don't really care about that. Man,
I'm not concerned with that.
I'm not concerned with that. And then came on to saying how I'm going to take away rights from the left. Okay, you know what? You know what Kamala Harris wouldn't do? You know what Joe Biden wouldn't do? An executive order against Antifa. Okay? How you like that, lefties? Mr. All these black flag emojis in your Twitter bio going, Zoran Mamdani is too much of a Zionist for me. Like, how about that?
Oh my God. I sent Caesar this thing on Instagram. I've been telling him that there's a lot of like leftists that are like so against Mamdani. He's like, what are you talking about? I like sent him this thing on Instagram and it's so funny. I'm just like, Caesar, like, there are people out there like they're like literally calling Mamdani a Zionist, like literally, like they're like, oh no, he's a Zionist AIPAC shill, like, and that's the thing for me. I'm like, okay, then you gotta run, dude. Like, then you have to go because if you're saying this guy ain't enough, then you gotta go. Like,
yeah,
you can't run for city council even. Like, you gotta run for president right now.
That's my new response. Like, I've grown. I've reached my own avatar state. And I'm not even going to get mad at these people anymore. I'm just going to be like, yo, run. And then their response is always going to be, oh, I don't believe in electoral politics. It's like, okay, so you just believe in bitching online for whatever money Mark Zuckerberg will give you at the end of the month, right? Like, that's pathetic, dude. You're taking, okay, like, you don't want to make any political change because you have no faith in the Democratic Party and no one's as pure as you. So instead, you're going to whine around and take money from defense contractor Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or Google or Microsoft. You're going to take tech money to whine and bitch online in some creator program. Really?
No,
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm either going to start attacking. Wow. I'm going to go all full Charlie Kirk and be like, wow, you're on Twitter, which has X, which has Elon Musk, who is a defense contractor who sends weapons to Israel. Huh. I don't know, man. I don't know if you're pure enough for me. See, I don't use X that much, but like you're still on this stuff posting like 30 times a day, man. I'm not sure. Like, whatever little advertising revenue you're making is going, they might as well be writing your name on the bombs, dude. They should be putting your ad on the bombs, man. Like, or run for something. And if you make it, cool. If you don't, you'll get humbled. You'll learn a little bit more about like how far you can go and still like keep your principles in the system and still get power. And it's probably further than you think. And then just go for it. But yeah, like,
right. And also, I want to reply to what Philippe said, but I also want to say this too. I think that there's also this thing like there is this like too like inward thinking about politics, because I often feel like there's people that and I don't want to keep saying purity test, but it's like they think that the politics here are supposed to be different than they are around the world. Like, we're talking about like there's a certain amount of democracies in the world, and like it's like, why do you think that you in America are supposed to have like this perfect candidate run to represent you? Like, that's not happening anywhere in the world. Like, in the world where there are candidates that are to the left of our Democratic Party, there's like Lula right now, they're building oil rigs in the mouth of the Amazon River right now. Like, and Lula is justifying it. And I'm not saying that to shit on Lula. I'm just saying that's like the politics, dude. Like, there's
The Lula
nowhere in
loans.
there's no
They're kind of fucking. I'm sorry, really fast. Like the Lula loans are kind of fucking up right now, and that was like his left wing sort of like, I'm going to make it easier for poor people to get access to credit. Guess what happened? Poor people are just in more debt.
yeah, they're defaulting, yeah. Like, and I'm not saying that to shit on him. I'm just saying like I don't like if you don't have the perfect candidate, that doesn't mean you give up, dude. Like that does not mean you give up because around the world they don't have the perfect candidate. And let me address what Philippe said here about there being a lot of ways to get involved that are outside electoral politics. I totally agree with that. Oh, Dan left, but I totally agree with that. You know, and I'm not even trying to say this to big myself up or whatever, but I felt like when I was doing Free Discussion Society, and I'm not going to sit here and explain the whole thing, like I felt like that was me like getting involved in the community and encouraging people from like to think about things and critical thinking and things like that. I look at somebody like Stacey Abrams, who Dan brought up earlier. What Stacey Abrams did in Georgia a few years back, although it was adjacent to electoral politics, she wasn't running herself. And damn, is Dan gonna cancel me for this? I think Dan's gonna cancel. Maybe I can say this before Dan. Actually, I think everybody in the chat will cancel me for this, but Dan will for sure cancel me for this. But I said on Power Report back when Stacey Abrams was doing her thing. No, Philippe, it's not going to be about Drake, but I'll bring up Drake later. No, I'm joking. But I said this on Power Report years ago that we need a Stacey Abrams in Mississippi, like in particular because of the large Black population. And I'm sure like so many of them don't vote. And I did hear, oh God, Dan's going to cancel me so hard just for bringing up this name, but I'm going to bring it up anyway, just because this person, obviously I don't agree with this person's takes like that all the time, but they do know a lot about electoral politics, this person. So I'm just going to say the person anyway. It was James Carville. He was saying that a Democrat could win the Senate in Mississippi. And he was breaking down, he was like talking about the Black population and stuff. I was like, holy shit. I said that like 3 years ago. Literally was talking about how you need a Stacey Abrams in Mississippi. Now, that's just neither here or there, but I'm talking about really what Philippe said about ways to get involved that are not running for office. There's so many ways to get involved. And yeah, I think that's really important. Now, for the freaking super cynical purist, it's like, dude, shut up, dude. Like, you live in America. Like, you literally live in America. I'm so tired of saying this. Like, you live in America. You're lucky that we don't, like, you're lucky that the South didn't win the Civil War. Like, if they had a fascist police state going on in the South that they wanted to, the Confederacy, they wanted to extend from Canada to Brazil. That was their goal. We could have been that. Like, this is America. This is the worst. This is the country that Hitler modeled himself after. This is the country that apartheid South Africa modeled themselves after. So have hope that we get like the perfect candidate. Please hope for that. But we just got full suffrage 50 years ago or 60 years ago, dude. Like that's when the Voting Rights Act passed. Like your grandparent, like not everybody could even vote, like grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that people just got to be smarter about it. And uh, there was no production sheet, so we're just talking about it. We're going all over the place. And Dan's mad because I mentioned James Carville. No, I'm joking.
No. I had another thing to talk about, but I want you to finish your point here.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, because I'm rambling.
But I was just gonna say, like, to your point, so like to tie in the Charlie Kirk stuff, what we should be thinking about with media, and like to Bam's point about like what we're doing when it comes to Mississippi. I mean, there was a lynching that happened in Mississippi this week, wasn't there?
No, it was Huntington Beach. No, it was Mississippi. The police are saying it's a suicide.
Don't get me arrested, man. Not this week, dude. So for folks who didn't know, there's I forget the name of the college, but like I said Mississippi, and that should honestly say the rest of the story. But it's barely getting reported, but I saw some coverage, and I saw some folks talking about it, and it was JR actually. So shout out to him on Watch List, but he had found a video of the victim's cousin who was speaking out and talking about how, like, yeah, this is middle of nowhere Mississippi. We know how it goes. We know going to this college, you are harassed for being Black. You're called every different slur in the book. You'll have a bunch of white boys in a truck driving by you, yelling at slurs at you and stuff. Like, that's the game out there. And, but it's America. It's 2025. Why don't you just call the police and they can just, it's a hate crime. Why don't you just, well, it'd be okay. But if only there was a Mississippi Democrat who condemned Palestine, to condemn what was happening in Gaza, this is the reality, is that, like, while we are talking about creating free speech corners in every college campus with like a statue of Charlie Kirk in bronze. Was that a quote or no? While people are talking about stuff like that, the people who are actually in danger in this country are people like that, who are still living in, frankly, forgotten parts of America. And Bam and I have talked about this a lot, about how the South is super forgotten, even by the left. Like, you have some good leftist, like, stuff going on, like some parts, but like the real dirty South, where like the strange fruit part of the South, like, yeah, no one's talking about that. But like, that is real. The other school shooting that happened in the Rockies, like just hours after, or minutes after the Charlie Kirk shooting, like, that's real. And it ain't nary a memorial about that. There ain't nary nothing about that. And one last thing, just because in the spirit of Sachi, I gotta shout out some Democrats now. Republicans are about to pass a resolution in the House that's like, official memorial of Charlie Kirk. Like, it's naming a post office. Like, they're not doing anything. It's just like, we as the U.S. Congress would like to send our condolences to Charlie Kirk, and we love him, and he was such a good free speech person, and it's just that. And now the Republicans want Democrats to not vote for it, so they can rake them over the coals for it. They just tried to censure Ilhan Omar for doing the heinous act of being a Muslim woman who quotes Charlie Kirk directly. like that was her crime. And Nancy Mace was like, let's censure this towel head and send her ass back to Somalia with her husband brother. Right? Like, that's basically how far that Nancy Mace was going. And even the Republicans were like, Nancy, you got some foam on your teeth right there. Like, we can't do this. We can't do. No. We gotta give it 2 more tries. We need God, I don't even want to say it. I'll put it like this: we need Donald Trump to get upset with 2 more influencers who changed their mind on the Epstein stuff. Then we'll get to go against the Muslims. Okay, but like right now, no. Too much dip on your chip. So yeah, the censure effort and the effort to get Ilhan Omar out of all of her seats in committees did not work. And it was a blatant, like, the fact that Republicans had to be like, let's tap the brakes on this, kind of told me that, like, internally there's a lot of people who are like, in the House especially, like, hey, yo, we've got to run midterms next year. Honestly, now we've got to run midterms now. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's popping off over here, like, on camera going, yeah, so I called up all the CEOs and I just said, stop telling us what you're doing. Like, why do we need quarterly reports? It's not like, you know, stockholders who, like, need to know your shit or anything. Like, just don't just, we trust you. You're good. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you have farmers going like, yeah, I'm going super deluxe extreme bankrupt. And this is, like, worse than even COVID.
The farmers in the Dakotas are burning their soybeans.
Yeah, because they're like, I think I heard a quote that was like, if the United States became the soybean supply, the sole soybean supplier for every country in the world, it wouldn't match the amount of soybeans that the United States typically gives to China, or, like, you know, trades with China. Because we're not just, like, giving it away, like, we're trading it for something, right? Every country in the world, the soy they need from America would not add up to the amount that China used to get from the United States. Now, China's like, oh, fuck yeah. We're going to sort that out another way. Like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to sort out another way.
They're like, hey, Brazil, hey, Argentina, check, you want these GMO seeds or what?
He hit him with the old you up.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go. I did have somewhat of a plan.
Oh, what's the name? So Ilhan did reply to Nancy Mace saying that she should go to rehab.
Oh man, Ilhan is a more respectable woman than I am, man, because I would make lower gesture. I would take the low ground when it comes to Nancy Mace, because I've seen enough.
But she did cry after the Epstein survivor meeting, so
you're not gonna start me, Ben. There's one thing I did want to say, because Sandy, Sandy, we all should have taken your advice. Earlier this week, Sandy left the box, messages me, and she's like, after the Kirk stuff, it's like, hey, cool it. We all know what's about to happen. And, you know, my usual, like, yeah, sure, it's fine. Like, I know what my lines are. You know, it's a day online. Have to take things private after a little while because of the Jank thing, and some doxing attempts that I was already starting to pick up on. And I was like, yeah, you know, sometimes you get tensed when you fly close to the sun, but, you know, that was one of those days. So maybe I should have taken that advice. But Sandy goes, now that I've had time to process things with Kirk and the right, I'm going scorched earth. Video coming soon. Hey, you're in Canada. Please go off for us. On our behalf, please do. Yeah. You'll, like, you know, even if there's a right-wing brigade, like, Canadians are like, you'll be fine. Like, it's not.
I'm in Canada too, guys. I'm in Canada too.
But yeah, I would also advise being careful because these people are horrendous. But yeah, I'll say this, Bam. I've gotten my original, like, fascination with world news and topics and things like that was because of reading a lot of international sources from a young age and being like, oh wow, America gets talked about, like, mad differently in other publications around the world compared to how we talk about ourselves. It was just, like, a very, like, you know, it seems kind of like elementary now, but I was elementary then, so it's fine, right? But this is definitely another one. And that was just, like, during the Bush years. And some of these countries, like, you know, England, France, they didn't have, like, much for like to stand on when it came to what they were doing. So they were basically just like blindly following America into what we were doing around that time. But this is another one of those times where I have friends from outside of America who are sending me articles going, yo, did you know about this shit? And a lot of stuff was like, no, I didn't know about this actually, because so much is going on. But also some of these stories about like, oh, there's this protest here with this many people that was like anti-Trump, or like, oh, it's the stuff that's like anti-Trump that I would kind of expect to hear as someone who consumes generally left of center media sources. And it's only the ones that are like, you know, your local, I don't even want to like get them in trouble, but I'll just say your local Democratic, Socialist, or adjacent publications, your It's Going Downs, your People City Councils, like in LA, for example. It's only those where you're seeing the actual what people are on the streets are doing with like de-arresting people from ICE, or doing like community mutual aid with engagements for you know, whatever communities are needing with the Trump administration right now. I think you're going to see a lot of, you know, we've had a really calm hurricane season, but I think you're going to see a lot more of that neighbors helping neighbors stuff, with this being one of the times where FEMA has some of the least amount of money they've had in decades. So that is all to say that, and after this, to give you some structure, Bam, we can go into like international news more broadly and wherever we want to go with that. I know we're going to touch on Gaza, so we can start there. We could also talk about the killer terrorist sailboats, the killer terrorist canoes that Venezuela is sending over, that our Lord and Savior Donald Trump is gloriously raining down hellfire missiles on. There's a lot to go there with. But the last thing is that the international perspective is very important right now, not just for us as Americans to keep an eye on what's happening in the rest of the world, because a lot of it is connected to America and even American culture. The right wing is rising everywhere. Even the places that are like, haha, look at the Americans. It's like, Canada, what? Australia, what? England, what? Like, I'm starting to think that Kamala Harris is to the left of Keir Starmer. So, like, it's bad everywhere, but in your sources, throw in, like, if you're reading a story and it's in Washington Post and New York Times, or, you know, one of those, like, first of all, why? But, like, even if it's in, like, AP or Reuters, which are, like, generally a little bit better, try to find that same story by, like, The Guardian or The Independent in the UK, or, like, AFP or Der Spiegel, or there's a bunch of Central and South American. Yeah, there's a bunch of Central American publications. There's some like West African publications that are starting to get really good too. There's a lot, basically. So just check all that stuff out.
You know, honestly, for me, just really quick, I like during the Iraq War, like I would watch cable news a lot just to see like what was going on. But around that time, what showed me that there would be like that there was a different perspective outside of America was just reading BBC online, because they would have like a totally different view, even though like obviously England was part, like the major actor, another major actor in the war. It was just a totally different perspective. So yeah, it is good to find international outlets, but don't mess around and find the tanky ones.
God, Grey Zone. Not even gonna touch it. Anyways, international news, global report. I've been talking a lot. So like, what?
Well, I don't know. I can't remember if last week we really talked. I mean, I'm assuming we did. Talked about Israel targeting Qatar. I kind of think we talked about that last week, but I can't remember.
We did very briefly, but yeah, okay. Like it was, you know, for refreshing. Israel strike precisely in Qatar, where you had negotiators for Hamas who were
who have lived there for years.
Yeah. Who were like deliberating about all this. It's like, oh,
right.
We've tracked down Hamas and their secret. It's like,
dude, those guys have lived there for so long, dude.
You open the Qatari yellow pages. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Not funny. But so after that, there was this big meeting of Arab and Muslim countries to, rail against Israel. And, I thought that they were going to put together some plan, but they did not. They just sat there and yelled like they used to do.
Shocking.
Yeah, like they used to do at the Arab
Sounds like a DSA meeting.
Like they used to do at the Arab League meetings back in the day, which used to be hilarious because Gaddafi would show up and he would just call the Gulf monarchs monkeys and lapdogs for the West, but then they killed him. But yeah, they got there, and there was some fiery rhetoric. Sisi from Egypt did refer to Israel as "n" or "the enemy," but I don't think it's going to go very far. And it was really I don't know who other people listen to or read or whatever when it comes to the situation in Gaza, but I'll just say this. I don't generally see many other people talking about the power that the Arab countries in that region have in regards to this conflict. Although I did just see, Dan's going to hate this too. I forget the guy's name. One of them dudes from MSNBC. He did have two people on for kind of like a podcast episode. The guy with the glasses, I forgot his name.
Chris Hayes?
Chris Hayes, yeah. He had two guys on. These are like long-time people that have been working when it comes to the Israel-Palestine situation. These two people wrote a book together.
Alan Dershowitz and Glenn Green.
Stop. Not noted lower the statutory lower age of consent advocate, Alan Dershowitz, not him. But it was very disheartening to see the Arab fellow really just be very cynical and just be willing to sacrifice civilians in Gaza. I'm like, God damn, dude, like, are you all like that? But anyway, I haven't seen very much of very many people talk about the power that these countries in the region have. It's crazy to me. All these Arab and Muslim countries got together to talk shit about Israel. And I'm like, probably like basically all the OPEC countries are there. Like probably all of you from OPEC are there except for maybe Iran wasn't there. But like, why don't you do something? Obviously, America is Israel's ally. Obviously. All you got to do, if you're OPEC, which is mostly Muslim countries and Arab countries, all you got to do is do the same thing you did in October 2022. Maybe you could even go harder, actually.
I mean, like 22 or 23?
22, before the midterms. They made sure them gas prices skyrocketed. All you got to do is do the same thing. Do it. And maybe it will work. Maybe the whole world is ready to pay $7 at the pump. Philippe knows. I'm going to talk about this 2022 midterms, and I'm going to talk about Drake and Ireland. No, I'm joking.
I hate that Philippe knows that I do like the Financial Times. I read it for the articles.
That's funny. But it's just like, dude, they're not going to do anything but talk. None of them have threatened. The UAE has not threatened, Bahrain has not threatened to leave the Abraham Accords. They have not even threatened it. There's literally nothing like I understand, we're here in America and we would love for our government to not support Israel. It's a pipe dream. I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. Our government supports Israel just like it supports Egypt. Both of them are going to get American support. That's just the reality, okay? But these other countries over here who claim to be the enemy of Israel and will have so much rhetoric in regards to the Palestinian people, all they got to do is cut the oil production. That's all they got to do. When the world feels like, oh shit, like what the hell? They can't kill everybody in OPEC. They can't kill every president or king or whatever. But it's
Massage is like, hold my beeper.
True. But unfortunately, they're not doing shit except for talking. And who knows? They might try to raise gas prices for these next midterms. But they're not doing anything except for talking. Meanwhile, Israel is I don't want to forget this, but Israel is just completely destroying Gaza City, has displaced most of the population there, destroyed like 70% of the buildings. They're knocking down high rises and stuff. I do think that they're preparing to settle a lot of Gaza or to turn it into like the Riviera thing like Trump planned. But the last thing I'll say before you go, Dan, I did recently watch, I don't know if anybody here has Canopy. Canopy with a K is the best streaming service in the world. It is free as long as you have a library card, and you can get an electronic library card online at any time. Very easy. But I did just watch a documentary that I want to say his name is Louis Theroux. I did just know
Henry Thoreau.
No, it's Louis, but I'm pretty sure his last name is Thoreau. But he did Louis a documentary. Him too. He did do a documentary called "The Settlers," where he goes over to the West Bank and he talks to. To Israel, and part of it is in the West Bank as well. But he goes to talk to a lot of the settlers in the West in Israel, close to the West Bank. Or no, what the hell am I talking about? The settlers in the West Bank and some people in Israel, and also to some Palestinians in the West Bank. But it's a really, really good documentary just to see the mindset of Israeli settlers, the Israeli settler culture, which is the same culture that the Europeans came to the Americas with. It's really crazy to see them say, like, be offended that Louis Theroux refers to people as Palestinian. Like, they literally say like that, like they're literally like, I'm offended by that. Like, to me, like, Palestinian doesn't exist. Like, that's what these settlers are saying. One of the settlers is from Houston. He literally has a Southern accent. And they talked to like one of the godmothers of the settler movement. I forgot her name, but it's just really crazy because these people are so similar to like the early settlers of America, like the 13 colonies, because they're like, we're going to push more and more into like Palestinian land and basically force the Israeli government to come protect us, which just makes a new settlement. Like, that's what George Washington and them early settlers were doing here. They were pushing more and more west until the English were like, y'all can't go further than this point because we're tired of having to come protect you against the native people, the indigenous people there. And then they just had a revolution. They said, well, if you're not going to let us push any further west, we'll just get you out of here and we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, like I feel like even in American schools, I learned basically about like the eventual founding of Ohio and how that was that case of, well, it's not the founding, but like the early settling of Ohio by Europeans. Was this let's see how far we'll go until they stop us?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's why I've always cringed whenever I hear people say ask for forgiveness, not permission. Because it's like, it's always like the advice is like, don't ask for permission, don't ask for consent, do whatever you want to, and then flash some tears afterwards. And, you know, maybe you don't get everything you stole, but maybe you get to keep 80% of what you stole and you're still up 80%. So like, and like it's such an ingrained thing. Like it's one of those things that I would hear parents tell their kids in elementary or middle school. And I'm like, that's how this culture kind of gets created. It starts with as little as like, okay, well, if you see something, it's yours, take it, you're entitled to it. And it goes to, if you see a woman, it's yours, you as a man are entitled to it. Or if you see, you know, a job and you didn't get it, it's not your fault because you're entitled to that job. It's someone who is not as qualified as you who got it. And by the way, that person happens to be part of a marginalized group. The kind that we always told you that you're better than. And it's just when you break apart that mythology, like so many other mythologies, that's when you see the white hot, no pun intended, rage that you've seen from the large gun community ever since Charlie Kirk has passed. Like it's just like, oh, now this is what we're really like. This is what you can see. You thought this was like now, and not to go back to the Charlie Kirk stuff, but like the dangerousness of it is when you're taking people who already live in their own fantasy world and you have knocked that world upside down, or, you know, they think that you have knocked that world upside down, when in reality, they're just like fighting their own shadowboxing battles. They're going to respond to that disproportionately. And then when they're acting out in the real world, it's like you have to deal with that unpredictable force, which almost reminds you of, I don't know, this is an experience for me, but you go on the subway sometimes and, or, you know, you're just outside in a major city anywhere and you like public transportation or not, and you see someone who's like going through some sort of like mental health crisis and they're shouting at something. And many people have said it differently to me in different ways, but like, you're not sharing a reality. And so no matter how nice you are, they could be perceiving that as a threat. They could be perceiving that as kindness. They could be perceiving that as maliciousness. They should be perceiving that as like so many other different things. And so you're at the mercy of the fantasies of an ungrounded person. And that's what our politics feels like, both domestically, but also internationally. Because like when it gets to this whole thing with, I'm trying to bring it back, like when it gets to this whole thing with who in the region is going to stand up for this, like I kind of almost get the instinct to project American politics and be like, I'm sure there's a bunch of people in the country who see some solidarity or have some solidarity with the Palestinian cause, see them as like other Muslims. And of course, it's not everyone, but I'm sure there's a lot, because it's a global thing, who are like, yeah, damn, I wish we could do something about this. But I mean, in America, we lie to ourselves and say we have a democracy, and then you look at right now and it's like, damn, I really wish Trump weren't doing anything about this. What can you do about it? Nothing except go to work tomorrow. Right? So like I can, and you know, America, for all it is, we're rich as fuck as a country. So I can see that for so many other different places with like less or different mix of resources going like, damn, I really wish you know, we were doing something more as a country, as a nation, as a power, whatever. Oh well, gotta just go to work tomorrow and hope we don't get you know, bombed by Israel randomly for no reason. Like,
Well, it's got
I
to
don't know.
feel different when you're like in a country where obviously like there's no democracy in the Middle East, but um, except for Iran.
I think you're forgetting about one.
But the like at the very least, like the political leaders are having a rhetoric against Israel, but at the same time they're not doing anything. At least here, like we already know that this country supports Israel. Like it's like a miracle if any of our any of our politicians speak out against Israel at any point, But over there, it's just like, well, damn, dude, like it's not like you're powerless. Like if you all feel this way, like you can do something, and actually you could do a lot. It happened in the past. In 1973, Saudi Arabia made the whole world suffer because of what Israel did. Now, granted, King Faisal was killed after that by his brother, and I'm assuming Whitey sent him. But it would be it's different times now, and it would be more of a collective. Like there is a way to put pressure on Israel while America is being an ally to Israel, while Germany is being an ally to Israel. Like the whole world don't want to suffer for Israel, but sadly, these countries just don't want to actually do anything. And in the meantime, those people have to suffer so much. Maybe they're looking at it, well, whatever, dude. Maybe it'd be better if there was some kind of Riviera there. Like, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, it's really unfortunate to see all these people displaced. And it is also unfortunate to see from different people who happen to be Arab who are like supporting like the fight supporting like the violent fight against Israel, but like they just don't care about all these civilians dying. Like that part breaks my heart. Like it was actually a really good podcast episode that what's the name Chris Hayes did with these people. Like they've been involved with this conflict for a long time. And they're really intelligent, but there was just like the dude. I'm just like, dog. Like, there's so many people dying. Like, why are you trying to like? What's the point of like justifying the violence? The violence is not doing anything for anybody, and especially for Palestinians. Like, it's not helping. I don't know. There's just this part of me that sometimes thinks of people like they just don't, and I'm not saying this person specifically, but I do also feel like this from some people on the left, and obviously the right is so much for just like don't value people's lives. Like I feel like you got to put like people's lives first. Like I don't want to see nobody die unless they were with it. Like if you were picked up a gun and said, let's get it, like, okay, if you die, it's all good, whatever, because you joined the fight. Or if you were somebody who said that it's worth it to have the Second Amendment, it's worth it that people die so we have the Second Amendment. If you die, then, you were asking for it. But if you're just some person, like you mentioned, like, that's just getting up and going to work or whatever, selling freaking bread on the side of the road. I don't want you to die. You don't got nothing to do with nothing. Anyway, the situation in Gaza is really a shame, and I'm going to be right back in 2 minutes.
For sure, yeah. Get a dog, little Loggy. I'm going to kind of figure out and reset a little bit here, but I can kind of go into the sort of new thing. So we're going to have like 4 sort of mini reports through every single Power Report episode. The reports will be based around global news, international news, something kind of, silly or dumb or stupid or funny, and then something that kind of shines a light on resistance or activism or things of that nature that people are doing outside of the political system for hopefully a good benefit. A lot of these things are hard to find, and so thanks again for bearing with us as we do this little transition-y thing. But yeah, we hope to make it interesting and worthwhile for folks. I have I don't know. I keep just wanting to like play certain clips. You've all seen all of these, but yeah, it bears repeating. I'll see if they're loading because some of it's just like not even worth it. But let's see. A lot of these are just like my own likes and things I'm finding. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna play this clip here. Oh, Bam's back. I'm already this far. I am done with Charlie Kirk stuff, but there was one clip that I had found during my hiatus or during my hiding that I wanted to put up here really fast.
Execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have, you should see it. What is the age? What age should you start to see public executions?
16. I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12,
whenever,
like 6th grade or so. You are a person, they're old enough to, you don't need to like really wallow in it and have them be broken on a wheel or anything. But if it was something like chopping, if we had a guillotine or something,
I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day. I want to watch.
Who is he talking about?
I actually don't know the context of who he's talking about, but
Nelson Mandela.
Greta Thunberg.
Right. Like who's really nice? Like Mr. Rogers.
Lady Teresa.
Holy shit.
Miss Rachel.
Blake Griffin.
Literally, this was a show Charlie Kirk did that wasn't, point counterpoint with Charlie Kirk, where I get on and I'm just like talking with people, or America at a Crossroads. No, the show is called Thought Crime with Jack Posobiec. I'm not even going to get into Jack Posobiec and how much of a vehement racist he is, bigot of all kinds, who's only like somewhat mellowed out from his past because his image was relaundered by the likes of Charlie Kirk and these folks. But yeah, just another fireable offense just by asking questions. No. So I was mentioning how like there's a structure-ish to the show that I'm playing with. And there's a segment of the show that I want to devote just to like relatively more, fun things that like maybe get us, some laughs a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, to make it seem a little bit less monotonous. This was a funny thing that I found. It's gonna be national, international, whatever, but there's a funny thing I found. This looks like it was a report from Semaphore, but someone had said here, and let me get it on screen. I'll read it. This predates the social media wars of the late 2010s. One Trump appointee told me that a radicalizing experience for him was being booted out of the Gawker comment section way back in the day. I'll repeat that again. A Trump appointee told me that a radicalizing moment was being booted out of the Gawker.com comment section.
That's what you call white fragility.
That's that shit. That's that shit. Because it's the same thing Ben was talking about earlier. It's that like I have to create an entire victim narrative in order to feel like I'm participating in politics. Because my radicalizing moment in politics was experiencing the American healthcare system. Also being black. Well, that last part. Like there's some like actual things that have happened to me. Not like, you know, like you don't have to have an identity to like have a radicalizing moment. It can be something you saw through your friend. You can be a white person who has a black friend. Well, you know, like a brown friend, and you like see how they're treated one time, and you're like, oh wow, I've heard people like describe it, but seeing it happen in front of me, like that was a radicalizing thing for me as an accomplice or for me as an ally. Like that's totally fine, right? But bro, you can't tell me that your like Joker origin story was a ban on an internet forum in the 2010s. Like, which by the way is basically Peter Thiel's origin story, because Peter Thiel got mad at Gawker for reporting on his sexuality, and so he responded by bankrolling Hulk Hogan's, rest in power, Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker, basically throwing them out of business. It's like Peter Thiel had the money to throw a fit over being kicked out of the Gawker comment section. This guy just held a grudge and then became a Trump appointee. And again, it's just like, dude, your rights aren't being restricted just because someone called you a moron. Well, your rights aren't being restricted because someone's just like, hey, dude, like this was fun the first couple of times, but you're just being annoying and I don't want to talk to you. And it's my right to not talk to you. And these people who still haven't gotten over like the first time they've ever been rejected in school, and now they've made it all our problem.
No, literally, like just because somebody thinks you're wrong, just because two people think you're wrong, that's not cultural Marxism, dude. Like they just disagree with you. And it's not because you're a white male. It's because you're probably wrong. Like
cancel culture is when women won't text me back.
Right. Oh my God. There was some guy I knew. I used to have a shirt that said feminism on it, or feminist. And he's like, bam. He was like obsessed with me. It was really weird, but he's like, bam, you're not a feminist. What? You don't believe in that. And it's just like weird stuff. And he just like starts talking about how he was in a class and the like women in the class weren't like respecting his opinion. And that was like cultural Marxism. I'm like, what if they just didn't agree with you? Like how like insecure are you in your own opinion? Just because somebody doesn't agree with you, now you're like upset. If you feel like you're right, you're still right. If somebody doesn't believe you, doesn't believe it, a weird freaking crazy incel. But yeah, the like the Gawker comment section. Also, just come back under a different email. Like what the hell? Like
there wasn't even doing IP blocks back in them days. Like
right. Like you probably didn't even have to log in. You probably could just start talking. Like just make another name with the one behind it or something. Just use the same name.
I was about to say, like, literally pro tip, like just add plus a number to your email address and you have a new email address.
Right. Like what the hell? Idiot.
Like, no, It's like I call this like cinder block brain thinking. It's like, no, I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna
Right.
fucking bust my ass in the right wing and wait until President Apprentice appoints me for some bullshit job at the Department of Arresting Grandmothers.
Like going back to what you said about like when we're talking about the radicalizing moments, like I think like for sure being black is like you're gonna have a moment, and I feel like for me, like I want to say it was radicalizing, but it was like the and I think this is the case for a lot of people, like or a lot of black men, especially when you're young, is like when your parents have the police conversation with you, and I'm sure that parents of all backgrounds tell their kids, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but like tell their kids, you know, when you start driving or something like that, like how to deal with being pulled over. But this is like my mom telling me when I was like 8 or something like that. And for like the black parent, like you're not telling your kid, like, this is how you got to act with the police. Like they also tell you to be like extra careful because you're a target because you're black. Like, and that's something like you gotta like, I mean, I damn near want to say that's like traumatizing when you're young. Like you're having to process like, oh, like, but we used to play cops and robbers. Or you know what I mean? Like, oh, like, but they say like the cops are supposed to protect you and shit. But like you gotta like process that you are a target because you're black. Like, you know, you're the first time you're probably the first time you're otherized is by like the people that, you know, love you and care about you, you know? So like this fool, Gawker man, like, you know, what were you gonna do when you were like 8? Fool? Like we're like, I mean, I don't even know if I should call it trauma, but I feel like that's like somewhat traumatic at a young age to be having to hear like, yeah, they might kill you if you don't start tap dancing. So
Yeah, I mean, every kid takes it differently. It can be traumatic. A lot of kids don't listen and become statistics, anyways. Like I don't.
not becoming a hashtag.
They call him Charlie Shirt because, anyways, I yeah, it can be traumatic. It definitely depends, but yeah, like there's just so many moments in America that, through the osmosis of being in America, like I think it's very telling when you meet people and you can tell like, oh, what their struggles were. And for me, one of those moments was in high school when you're writing your personal. So when I was a kid, you used to actually want to go to college before Trump opened the camps to get re-educated to become a rock crusher, right? But before then, back in my day, you actually wrote about your adversities and your struggles and things you overcame to become like a stronger person or a smarter person, and you sent that to colleges. And if they could infer through that letter that you were black, you immediately got it. No, I'm just kidding. But like in high school, it becomes a big thing, like sophomore, junior year, at least it was, where you would like all think about your essays and like wondering what you're going to write about. And you realize like, wow, you're either like in the trenches or you're around some fucking snooty, spoiled ass bitches. Because I remember helping to proofread someone's college essay, and it was about learning how to be happy with what you have, because she was retelling a story about how her friends who all have birthdays in the same month one of her friends' dad bought her a Mercedes for her 16th birthday. One of them bought her daughter like a BMW. And this girl was upset because she got a used Audi. And she felt embarrassed because it wasn't a new car. And I was like, oh, this is why people tell their friends not to come to school the next day. I get it now. It's like, I don't even remember what I wrote about in my statement, but it was some real shit. It wasn't that, okay? But like, you know, like if listen, like I'm happy if you get to go through life relatively without these sorts of struggles and things like that. But if you are born on third base and think that you're fucking Babe Ruth because of it, then my sympathy runs out for you very quickly. And those types of people tend to show their ass a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, you know, they'll congregate with other people who think as, you know, born on second base, thought you hit a double type people. And that's what the Lower East Side is for. But, you know, like everyone else can see that on you, like from a mile away.
Oh, yeah. They'll congregate with people like Charlie Kirk, or they'll at least listen to him. And then sing R. Kelly in the car with Candace Owens. But I don't remember what international thing we were talking about before. Oh, I didn't want to talk about what Trump is doing with Venezuela, actually. Because I think
we were talking about that.
I think it did come up a little bit. But I do think it's very wild that they're just bombing boats. Although I will say this last one looked like it could have had drugs on it at least. The first one did not. That was just blatant murder. Like this one at least looked like it could have been like remote controlled with drugs on it. Like
I saw one commentator like none of these boats have any more drugs than like your average bachelor party.
Than like Donald Jr.'s pocket. But
in Gavin Newsom's pocket.
Yeah. That also has condoms. But either way, even if
Listen,
it did have
a tough time. It's been a tough time for both of them. Donald Trump Jr. lost the brother that he never had, that Donald Trump still thinks that is his kid, and Gavin Newsom lost his best friend,
or his best friend's wife. But either way, like even if this boat did have drugs on it, it is a complete crime to be targeting it with missiles.
Concepts of a crime.
You know,
I'm still listening, but keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. It's unfortunate that we don't have any kind of things such as international law. Now, granted, that would have been great a long time ago, but yeah, this is gonna. There's not gonna be any consequences for the Trump administration for doing this, but it's just really crazy. And I did see some stuff in Venezuela. Maduro's calling up people to learn how to use guns and stuff. There are musings about Trump maybe planning some, medium to small scale invasion of Venezuela before the midterms for some kind of political boost. I don't know if that will work, but it might. Now, I don't know if it'll work for him politically. I don't think it'll work much on the ground just based on where Venezuela is located. And this terrain, but hopefully they don't do any kind of like targeted assassination, because we did see, what year is that? I can't remember what year it was. I'm pretty sure it was during the first Trump administration. I could look it up, but when Maduro was targeted by some kind of drone with that was 2018. Targeted by some kind of drone that I think it did explode, and I think it did kill somebody. No, it didn't. No, it injured some people at some kind of military parade. So hopefully the Trump administration doesn't engage in anything like that. Marco Rubio is a big Venezuela hawk. Donald Trump is a big Venezuela hawk. Like those are the two countries, like Venezuela and Iran, like they're forever in the crosshairs of the Trump administration. So we've already seen Trump bomb Iran domestically, and I'm just hoping we don't see him bomb Venezuela domestically as well. But we are seeing obviously these boats get attacked, and they've declared Maduro like the head of some cartel or some shit like that, and I think they have like a 50 million bounty on him, or is it 50 million? There's some like crazy bounty for Maduro, right? What's the amount of cash? 25 million? Yeah, there's a $25 million reward. No, I was right.
It's 50.
It is a $50 million reward for bringing Maduro to quote unquote justice. That's crazy. I mean, I don't even know how.
It's not real until I see Maduro on America's Most Wanted.
Right. Like I'm surprised that like, damn near Trump himself ain't trying to collect on that. But I guess he's doing $2 billion deals with the UAE. But
you think Commander Bone Spurs is going to be going down there on some Tom Clancy through the jungles of Venezuela trying to get to
what's the Blackwater guy? Eric Prince. Yeah, I wonder if Eric Prince might take him up. I don't know if he's still doing mercenary. Yeah, like I don't know if he's still in that game, Eric Prince.
You think Prigozhin would come out of retirement?
Ooh. I almost said something crazy. He comes up up from hell. He's like, "Hey guys."
Why'd you say Prigozhin's going to hell? I don't like that.
No, if Putin assassinates you,
going to hell.
no, if Putin assassinates you, you got to go to heaven for that. Just for that.
It's like a technicality.
Right. It's like if Putin like assassinates you, like he was killing like journalists and stuff and like people that were trying to do the right thing. It's like, I guess if he killed you, you did something right.
No, if Putin kills you, it could be you did something wrong, not right enough. Right? Because like he'll fire you for fuck ups. There's this one guy, he was like one of the last people in Putin's war cabinet who was like, "Dog, I don't know about this invasion. I mean, like it's taking a long time. Like I don't know if we should keep doing this." And he just resigned, which basically means that he's been given a week to say his goodbyes to his loved ones.
Well, they also killed somebody who wrote a book about the invasion as well. So,
yeah, Trump ain't got that swagger yet. He can't be putting cats in Michael Wolff just yet.
Not just yet.
If we do, then the First Amendment's really cooked.
Yeah, David K. Johnson, you're still good for now. But
can you imagine David K. Johnson just like eating soup and then you just hear politically. We're joking.
Right. But yeah, I'm hoping that we don't see an escalation with Venezuela, and I do believe that I do believe that Trump is still sweating about all this Epstein stuff. Like I think he's still sweating, and a good old invasion is a great distraction, but I feel like he would need a false flag. Like you can't just go in for nothing. Like you need, and like the real like MAGA allies, the real like MAGA people don't really want to see a foreign war. They want to see a war against like black neighborhoods in America, but and like immigrants, or actually not even immigrants, just anybody who looks like they could potentially speak Spanish.
Spanish.
But not
if they speak English in an accent, they're going out.
Doug, you know what, Dan? Like, there's no way I could be in these like Senate hearings talking to Kash Patel. Like, I could never, because I would just be asking him crazy shit. Like, I'd be like, "So, like, are you an American citizen?" like, yes. What? I mean, are your parents? Like,
No.
I would literally be trolling.
Bam, it'd be worse if you and I, God forbid, were like co-leading and leading a committee. I'd be like, are you the Brahmin Patels or are you a different
What caste are you, sir?
I just want to know, like, are you the liquor store Patels or are you the lawyer Patels?
I'd be like,
I want to know if I should like even still have you in this hearing, honestly.
right. I'd be like, sir.
I don't know if you're worthy of talking to me, actually.
Yeah. I'd be like, we just need to know what happened to your eye. Like, is it okay? Like, are you having trouble?
It's like they've been like this ever since the first time I saw my parents make whoopee. It's true. It's like,
like, yeah, I could never. Because honestly, like, if somebody's a troll, like, let's get it cracking. Like, let's do it. No, this is Patel. but like
I'd be asking questions like, where'd you get your podcast mic from? Did you go to Guitar Center or did you go like B&H Photo for that, or are you a Best Buy guy?
like,
I'd ask like, hey, of all the sponsors that you had on your podcast before becoming FBI director, did you like hymns, or were you more of like a Tommy John's kind of guy?
Dollar Shave Club.
Did you actually use Simply Safe? I mean, now that you're the FBI, I guess you have security, but do you still use Simply Safe? Like, I would not.
You know what? Like, this is like, honestly, when I was listening to the question, I'm like, this is like, no jokes aside, because he was saying he never read the files. I would be like, are you in the files? And only thing he can say is, I don't know, because he didn't read them. Like, are you in the files? He's like, no. How you know?
Maybe this is what you're referencing. There's one congressman who was like, so you don't know how many times that Donald Trump appears in the Epstein files. Is it 1,000?
Is it 1,000? It was Swalwell. It was
500?
Swalwell.
Is
It was Eric Swalwell.
Yeah. Is it like, is it 200? Is it 100? He's like, it's definitely not 100. It's like, okay, so you know the number then.
Right. Like, what an idiot.
I've never seen someone so profoundly unready for this.
And arrogant, too, and arrogant.
Like, actually, no, I'll take that back. Because I was going to say, I've never seen someone so incompetent at law enforcement and so smug about it. But I will say this one time, I was dating the daughter of a police detective, and he thought I was gay. I just want to repeat that one more time. I was dating the daughter of a police detective, and he thought I was gay.
Okay.
Great work, boss. Like, great work. Yeah, me and your daughter are just applauding to Star Wars in the other room. Trust me. Yeah, we're clap when the plane lands kind of couple. Trust me. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay, that was too much. Not backshot Dan.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to Venezuela. Hopefully nothing happens there. You never know. But your boy's having trouble. Dan, I really think that at some point, there's gonna be some really heinous. You know what's unfortunate though? There's already been heinous shit that's come out about Trump with underage women, like underage girls. It's already happened. Like,
there's a story.
Yes, she said when she was 13, he R-worded her. She said it.
Never mind. I was going to talk about a different case because this is the woman who was 14 or 15 when
Oh,
Trump and Epstein took turns R-wording her.
right.
And
I'm
again,
not sure.
I know. Let me play devil's advocate because I know what type of world we're in. Yes, I'm sure it's possible that the guy who bragged about going into the dressing room at the Miss Universe pageants that are full of 18 or, as the creeps call it, barely legal girls who are like getting dressed and changed and ready for this beauty pageant. Yeah, sure, Donald Trump was the guy who used to brag about doing that. But I'm sure all this other stuff with this Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not sure if Trump's ever heard of him. I'm sure there's that notebook in the notebook full of rich, famous people who are Jeffrey Epstein's friends, where Donald Trump writes his dumb signature and draws a photo of a prepubescent girl in the middle of it too. Bam, this is the tangent you started us off on just by mentioning one case of Donald Trump R-wording a young girl. And we were able to do a 3-minute tangent and just keep going. Like, we went band for band, but like case for case. Like, we can keep going too.
I don't remember which one said it under oath. Like, one of them said it under oath. Twice, actually. I don't know which one it was.
I think it's the one we're describing with the Epstein and Trump. I want to say tag team, but
Yeah. Don't ever say tag team. That like, this is like somebody who has like these, like this level of allegation, like, and also his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein that was shown on the freaking castle tower of the Windsor Castle or some shit.
Which they had him go because they're like, yeah, let's show. If there's one thing we like to show an American, like, let's just give them the royal treatment and let's just show them all the like the palace and stuff. I think that's really cool. They did that because the protest in England would have been crazy if Trump actually went out anywhere in public.
Right.
So they were like, well, let's keep you on the private grounds. You don't have to deal with any protests. And then bam, the projections and the banners and everything. Dude's pissy. The Onion had a great article that was like, Trump can't quite put his finger where he last saw the prince, the king of England. It's like, where have I seen you here before, King Charles?
But I think I saw that 4 people got arrested for doing that. But it's like, yeah, they're gonna just like be like, yeah, we gotta like bring you in, but you're fine. That's just some cheeky.
I mean, England don't be playing around like that. England is Keir Starmer's England is arresting Palestine Action and pro-Palestinian protesters. They are, the thing on the conservative right is now happening, which is like the fake thing they always do, which is like, did you know that people are getting arrested for the things they post online? And it's just like, yeah, trust me. Hitler Stasi 1488 would have never is a perfectly nice person offline. He was just making some jokes, and then all of a sudden the police came to his house and arrested him. Yeah, like, England has, you know it when you see it, freedom of speech. It's like you can say kind of whatever you want to, but like, you know when you're crossing the line, like, you know when you're dancing close to the line, and we know too, and we're not going to play around with that shit. I mean,
oh no, I remember some years back, like not that long ago, some little like teenager, he could have been 18, I'm not sure, but he did like 3 weeks in jail for being racist online. So like, yeah, definitely in all of Europe, but in England as well, like they don't have the same laws that we do when it comes to
you could fix England's economy just by pulling like a Trump's America and making the UK like one big Rikers Island, just by opening up jails for American kids who are racist on the internet. Like, you could literally fill an island the size of Greater Britain You could fill an island the size of Greater Britain with the amount of kids you'd have to jail for racism online if you're just talking about just American kids.
Right. You got to make sure you get the Isle of Skye in there too.
No, I'm gonna go for the Isle of Wight.
Okay, I'm gonna go for the Isle of Man. Pause.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go for the Virgin Islands.
I'm gonna go for Gibraltar.
Yeah, I'm out. I mean, like, I was just trying to find like a name of the funny islands, but like, this is the part where Bam says "dance asleep." I was trying to continue the bit, but like find like a funny geographical name, but like all that was coming up was Lake Titicaca, which does not have an island.
You were close because you could have said the Falklands.
I'm British, so I can't say the Falklands. That's one of the things they will arrest you for.
So Philippe wants me to talk about Drake. So no, I'm joking.
I mean, I don't know, man. This has been a very relaxing summer without having a Drake album playing in the background constantly.
See, Philippe, you just,
No, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Okay, can we? Because it's just you and I. We can fly in a world of pure imagination. No.
Okay, Dan, you're hella sleepy. That was like an alarm for you to go to sleep.
Bam, you're tired because how do alarms make you go to sleep?
Exactly.
But anyways, it would have been a different conversation if I had brought this up with a different set of panelists. So I'll just lay that here. But that it's funny because we're still going back to the Kirk thing, unfortunately, but there's a different angle here that's non-Kirk. The right wing was already saying last week by like Tuesday, so like day and a half before Charlie shirt. They were ready to say the left has gone too far. This is war. This is the downfall of our civilization. Because a mentally ill black guy in Charlotte stabbed a Ukrainian white woman to death on a train. And they're like, what? There were 3 of those niggers right on the...
Damn.
There are 3 of them right in the... There's going to be some white people who are listening to this. They're like doing dishes. They hear that. They're like, whoa. But no, like, the right wingers were like, there are all these other blacks sitting on the train. Why do we let them sit in the front if they're not going to help this white woman here? And it's like, dude, this is how you can tell you're not from a city, because when some crazy shit happens on the train, your goal is to get off that train alive. You do not intervene. You're not trying to be a hero to someone who just out of nowhere decided to stab a girl in the neck 19 times, all right? You're not going to be like, hey, you're not allowed to do that, sir. Sir? Like, dude, no. It goes back to that thing we were talking about how people be living in their own fantasies and you don't know how you're perceived in someone else's fantasy world until you get turned into Charlie Shirt, right? Like, you really don't know. And like, that's real, actually. But I say all that to say that became a big culture war issue on the right wing. Like, they were like, oh, don't talk to right wingers right now. They're really upset about this, like, Ukrainian girl, whatever. And like, it goes to show you how much they're going to manufacture these crises and look to it for like, oh, this is a quick way to get some clicks or get some fame or get some attention or even like rage bait. Which reminds you of the fact that this is something that people do in not just politics, but in a lot of forms of what has eventually become entertainment. There's sports rage baiting. Congratulations, Travis and Taylor. There's music rage baiting. Like, this is the long segue. DaBaby making a music video about that Ukrainian stabbing thing. I'm like, this is like a lower brow version of South Park making fun of Charlie Kirk. Did you see the video?
I did. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw like what was happening, and I was just like,
no one's ever seen a full DaBaby video. It's fine.
You're right. I was just like, this is like you're trying so hard to get
Okay,
people to
thank you.
talk
Because I was
about
gonna
you.
say, like, it's desperate, right?
It's so desperate. Like, it's just like you're rapping about just regular rapper shit. I mean, it's just regular rapper shit, and you're doing this thing like you just have you're broke. That's what it's giving, is that you're broke, actually.
Yo, like, part of me, and I gotten in so much trouble for this before, specifically on DaBaby, but you know what? For old time's sake, while we got the First Amendment, might as well ride it till the wheels fall off, okay? DaBaby kind of had his like fall in, fall off moment after he said some like wildly homophobic, even for rap music, like wildly homophobic shit on stage at a show. Stuff that was so homophobic, it was like Tyler the Creator homophobic, to where you're like, okay,
It's
like
like
what do we?
It's like 2013 Tyler, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when, you know, he's had a couple lyrics here and there where we're like, huh, I caught that. Wait a second. Yeah. It's like you are not a normal homophobe and you think and talk this much about dick. There's a deeper thing going on here. And you know, I'm just saying DaBaby's not beating the allegations, but after that, he got like Uber Super Deluxe canceled. And you know, I bet he's just seething like, it's so unfair. Like, how come Lil Nas X gets to do all these fun little like, you know, like stunts, and like no one. I don't know why I'm giving DaBaby a list to make him sound like Gangstalicious, but you know, that's just me projecting. But I bet DaBaby is like, how come artists, yeah, like Lil Nas X, get to do all these sort of like fun shock jock stunts? It's because, yeah, someone like Lil Nas X, before he even made being gay a big part of his like act, like post Old Town Road, that was already being projected onto him, and people were saying that like, oh, he's a Satanist and he's a devil worshiper and people don't like him. And so, like any good pop star, he was like, okay, I'm gonna double down on that because it gets people talking and I can sell some albums off of that. You know, like it's just, sometimes it works, sometimes you end up buck naked yelling at cops in LA at 4 a.m. and you know, it's fine, we all live our life. He's at least Lil Nas X, and truly peace be with him, but like Lil Nas X has got the money for whatever he needs, whether it's lawyers, whether it's rehab, whether it's more Molly, he can get that. DaBaby spent one of his last checks. You know, he did not get an advance for that video, right? But he spent one of his last good checks getting that video shot. And I swear that tweet I sent to you that has that video embedded from like one of those like rap aggregators that's secretly like a right-wing profile, like a Daily Loud or whatever. Like when I tell you it hasn't even cracked 1 million yet on Twitter, where like if you open the app and see the video accidentally, it gives it 5 views. Like, oh man, the fall off is great.
Oh, it's great, and it's just pathetic. It's like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? Like, what is he appealing to with this? And like, also, like, this just happened like not that long ago. Like, let the situation be something that like stands the test of time. Unfortunately, this woman getting stabbed is not like, it's not even news anymore. Like the day after, like the week after, Charlie Kirk got kirked. So
no, it was no. Let's be clear. It was. I mean, I think it happened a couple days ago, but it took a week for it to really spin up in right-wing media cycles.
okay.
It was. I forget the exact date it happened, but I remember
It was before Charlie Kirk, though, right?
It was before, for sure. It was before.
Yeah.
Like how long before? I want to say it was within September. Like
Yeah.
But it took a week to like filter through, you know, Daily Mail picks it up, and then more right wingers pick it up, and then more right wingers pick it up, and they all make their taste buds. You know how it works, right? It's like that took a while, but I distinctly remember because like I have to do these things in my head to not go crazy. September 9th, right wingers are pissed about this Ukraine case. They're like, why won't the president talk about it? Why won't black people get their people in order? It's like you were already seeing the racial stuff bubble up, and so the Charlie Kirk stuff was just like really lit up the powder keg. But I only saw like one or two right wingers making a connection between the two, which like you can't, but these are right wingers, so like of course. Like I only saw one or two of them do it, which was kind of surprising to me. Because yeah, they were like, okay, what's the next fake or semi-real controversy that we can ride into pushing the country further fascist, while liberals go, "Ooh, well, I guess they have a point about deporting Mexicans." Like that's kind of their strategy. But it is really sad that I mean, I don't know. Every accusation is a confession. The Republicans accuse the left and other people of celebrating the deaths of all of these people and, like dehumanizing them and treating them like nothing. These are people who would, if you think about their policy positions, would have rather seen that woman die in Ukraine than
Right.
give the Ukraine than like give sweater, like black sweater Zelensky even $1 more in aid, right? That's, for better or worse, that's Charlie Kirk's like ideology right there, right? Like that's
100%.
And here's the thing, like I think there's a nuanced conversation about like America's foreign involvement in even supporting Ukraine, right? Like there's that conversation to be had, but no, they're not. On November 8th, they'll go, fuck Ukraine. They should be left to, fend for themselves. Like it's Europe's problem, not ours. On the 10th, that's the 8th. On the 9th, they'll go, there's a Ukrainian woman and she was a refugee and she came to America to seek a better place as an immigrant. And that's what America's all about, is immigrants coming to this country and seeking something better. And then a dirty black nit came and stabbed the life out of her, took her away, and that's why we need to bring back lynchings, as if they were ever left. 9/10. Oh no, it's Charlie Kirk. We can't. Charlie Kirk is gone. I can't believe. Who is he? Oh, sorry, I was confusing him with Steven Crowder. Charlie Kirk is gone. No, like
I mean, somebody should be asking if the dude was listening to Charlie Kirk.
for such a, I mean, like, the whole like pro-life but dies thing is a meme, but it's really true. The Republican Party cares about life to use it as like a tool for we care about the lives of unborn white babies for the obvious reasons, or we care about the lives of virgin white women who are thin and blonde and submissive and obedient for obvious reasons. But if you step out of line from any of those things, or you're a traditional immigrant who's a brunette, or you're a black baby, or you're an Asian baby who's born poor, fuck you. That's the Republican Party. We care about life. We care about celebrating life. But if you die and you're like a Republican activist, we're going to use your life to mean whatever the fuck we want it to mean. Forget you. You have no agency in your life anymore. You are just a figure in my head. You are just a rhetorical strategy I can use. And when people disagree with me, I can go, he had a wife and kids. How dare you disagree with me? Gulags. Like the Republicans hate life. They disrespect life. They have no respect for families or, respect for the dead. Not Charlie Kirk, but Steven Crowder, friend of the show, did a viral meme where he let someone stand on his neck for like, the amount of minutes that George Floyd was screaming, "I can't breathe," to prove that you can survive that. It was clearly the fentanyl that killed him. Steven Crowder, I have an idea for a part 2.
Right.
I mean, let's just test it. Let's see how long that works. with your extra nostril, let's say that. Um,
Also there's something about that thing too. That video is released to stoke racial tension. Like, why do we?
the train one?
Yeah, like
Oh,
why?
100%. 100%.
Like, why do we need to see a woman get murdered on the train? Like, why do we need to see that? Why do we need to see a video of somebody getting stabbed in the neck on the train? Like, how and why does that video leak? It is simply to stoke racial tension. The a lot of the parents of children that have been killed at school shootings, mass shootings, they want the pictures of their kids published to show what these machine guns, these AR-15s and these like big freaking, 5.62 bullets or whatever do to kids' bodies. But that's never going to happen because that's like going too far, or that's like, but that doesn't suit the agenda. But seeing, a white blonde girl get murdered by a black dude wearing a hoodie, that suits the agenda. So there's
someone said really recently, like, what we saw happen on video to Charlie Kirk was, everything all aside, it's like a horrifying thing to like see happen to a person. You also have to sit and think about how many kids in America have seen their teachers go out like that, the way Charlie Kirk did.
They're friends.
They're friends. Like they did. I remember like one of the last good things the Washington Post did, and this is what was the authors and the people who were there, right? But it could have been New York Times, but they put together like a visual infographic of like, we did like drawings of the kids. And as you scroll down, it shows what it looks like when the bullets pierce their skin and go into their bodies. And it's like, the bullet doesn't just go through like an Acme cartoon. It ricochets and rips and spins and shatters and then does that inside of bodies. And so like parts of your spleen go where your heart's supposed to be. If you would like eaten lunch and you're supposed to like use the bathroom afterwards, that all gets mixed up into your like different, like it's a complete
arms are getting shot off. Like literally, like limbs are getting taken off by these weapons.
I mean, and to say nothing of, this is a very domestic thing, but for the past 2 years, if you open social media, you've probably seen images like that come out of Gaza with American weapons of war. You may have even seen images come out of Sudan or the Congo of like similar, like the edges of what modern society and all the so-called advances that we have will allow, right? But like, that stuff is there, but it's an assassination and it's political when it happens to Charlie Kirk. It's literally a statistic when it happens on other schools to actual attendees of those schools and not like 30-year-olds who still show up at the frat parties.
Children, like literally little kids.
Yeah, like I don't want people to replay that video in their head, but kids have lived that video. Some kids, unfortunately, multiple times. Whether it's seeing multiple people get shot or being through multiple school shootings.
Or just even the thought of now at the schools, I mean, it's been like this for a while, you have to do training for that. Like the kids have to train and do like mock school shooting trainings. They have stuff on the doors about what to happen, what to do if somebody starts shooting in the school at like all the damn schools. So like that right there is a tragedy. That woman getting stabbed up is a tragedy and killed. Charlie Kirk getting shot was what he wanted in a way.
Ironic. To repeat my words from the last episode, I'll say it. I didn't want Charlie Kirk to go out that quickly. Like,
Okay.
and by that I mean like, first of all, I don't want, like, let's not even be unequivocal. Like, I don't want that to happen to people just like sort of generally, unless you're like literally handed the gun, you're doing that all the time. It's like, okay, well, live by the sword, die by the sword, right? But like, the person like Charlie Kirk, if you go on like a shooting spree and you're killing innocent people and they decide to give you the death penalty and you get the firing squad, like, okay, cool. It's just, Sopranos ending. Just cut to black. That's it. I don't know, like now I'm getting also this again. But like, the electric chair, other forms of like torture, like other forms of life, whatever. I'm not sure if that person can kind of have a guilty conscience, but my ending for Charlie Kirk, if I had a perfect world, trials and prison time, like very long of that, right? I'm not even sure like what you'd get him on, but like the kind of suffering that people whose politics that Charlie Kirk is like have been a victim to, Charlie Kirk and the politics that he has helped to elevate and supercharge through MAGA, the people who have had their families destroyed, who have lost loved ones due to COVID, all those other different things. That is suffering that Charlie Kirk's ending does not amount to, does not compare to.
True.
And even his family isn't even going to suffer like that. His kids never knew him. His wife, dollar signs in the eyes. His friends and family, other dollar signs in their eyes. Like,
oh, they're fighting right now. The friends and family. Oh, they're fight. The family. Ooh.
oh no,
That's going to be a bad one.
Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro are already throwing each other subliminals on the timeline. Yo, this is Kendrick Drake for people who wear sweater vests.
Like I don't know, like what, like Charlie Kirk definitely had millions. Like the family, like I don't know if he had a will. He was young. Who knows? But that's gonna be a fight, and it's probably gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
No. All of these people are. Now we get to look at it from the outside, because whenever the left is fighting, you have to kind of picture the right in that like Simpsons meme of like the left are two monkeys fighting in the middle, and the right is like all the people standing around in a corner, like throwing coins and dollars and like making bets, just like watching and seeing what happens. No, but like the right fighting each other are like monkeys with knives and swords and torches and pitchforks. Like they're going to come out for each other. They're going to do it publicly. Candace Owens, unprompted, did a rant earlier this week where she was like, I'm willing to release text messages. I'm willing to go to war. She said the phrase, I'm willing to go so far for this, you don't even understand, even if it kills me, and I know you want that arranged. I'm like,
who's she talking? Is she talking to Israel? Like, who's she talking to?
Again, it's weird that Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens are doing these subliminals back and forth, because Shapiro, after that, said some other different stuff about, people fighting and, like going to the death for these things. And he was talking about how, he wants to continue the legacy of Turning Point USA from Charlie Kirk. Now, he wants to do that because TPUSA is getting all of that grief money coming in. And Daily Wire is on fumes. Like, they're months away from folding, which honestly, I'll buy Jenk a beer if Daily Wire folds before the Young Turks, because I'll be like, honestly,
he'll probably be sad about it. He'll probably be like, oh, it's a sad day in media.
Thanks for bringing me back down. I'm keeping that beer for myself, buddy. But yeah, like Daily Wire is going through it. They spent, the stories will come out over time about how TYT blew a lot of their money. But Daily Wire hired a disgraced Disney actress to make a movie about wokeism. And of course it failed.
Right. Oh, what's her name? I forgot her name. Yeah. The one from Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like gonna be in a Star Wars movie and like didn't like someone being black or something. Like I don't know, I forget. And then they made this like animated series that's the same thing. It's like, okay, here's I think it was like called The New Norm or something. And I was just like, okay, here's a normal guy who it's like King of the Hill, where you take a normal conservative guy and put them in a world where like, oh, here's someone who's gay, here's someone who's promiscuous, here's someone who's a person of color, whatever. Oh, don't say the wrong thing or you'll get in trouble. But like the point of King of the Hill is that like none of these things actually bothered anyone, and everyone just kind of got along and just did dumb things. The joke is, oh no, you have to feel bad for the main character who's like a white boomer Gen Xer who can't say the right thing. Like it's so they blew all their money on that. They have nothing because Matt Walsh ain't paying the bills. Michael Knowles ain't paying the bills. Candace Owens was, and she left. Oh, she was fired for being too anti-Semitic for Ben Shapiro, which is funny considering Ben Shapiro used to write for Breitbart. But Ben's probably seeing this as like okay, me being a part of TPUSA is a good way to like save my business and my company. But TPUSA is like a big power center that basically puts you like right hand to Donald Trump. Now the best thing is the thing that triggered Candace Owens were people saying, oh, who's going to be the next Charlie Kirk? Someone's going to replace Charlie Kirk. And Candace was like, no one's going to replace my man, or no one's going to replace my, friend. I saw some of them selfies looking kind of weird. But Ben Shapiro is just not charismatic enough to like get a bunch of young people to like listen, it worked 10 years ago because it was like kind of novel. You were fast talking and smart and like, he tried a little bit more now, right? But the Ben Shapiro show, like I don't listen to it anymore, but I still like get the episodes coming in my feed. You want to know what it's been this week? Okay, Wednesday. Text exchanges between Kirk killer, trans lover. Monday, Kirk shooter had trans boyfriend, far left views.
What?
Okay. Saturday, how Charlie Kirk transformed America. Episode 2027. 1 minute, 35 seconds. Why didn't anyone help Ukrainian stabbing victim? Like, this is like he used to try. Now he just does like Rush Limbaugh for intellectuals, which is an audience of none. Right. It's a true audience of none. So like, yeah, like none of them have the charisma to do what Charlie Kirk was astroturfing. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't see it.
Well, hopefully they all fold. Hopefully they all get out of here. That'd be great.
This is gonna end in a crypto coin.
Oh yeah, I can see that. No, for sure. Like somebody like Ben Shapiro, his best bet is to try to like cozy up to MAGA. Like that's your best bet because he's also like aging out. Like the freaking like, cynical young meme right winger like incel culture person does not want to listen to Ben Shapiro or even Charlie Kirk. Like,
well, yeah, Charlie Kirk was aging out, but here's the issue: is that the younger conservatives are, Nick Fuentes, Groyper, or
right,
maybe
right.
Jack Posobiec. I'm not sure what you'd call him, but he's, Stephen Miller in ideology still, right?
Yeah.
Like these are things that like you're able to get some stuff by the liberal elites in the media right now because they could see themselves in Charlie Kirk, which is like another big self-report. But these media elites are going to do that. Oh, that's a young kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's a conservative. So they're going to like, wash him out to be a moderate. But it's undeniable. Like I had the funny joke in that original Ben Shapiro about him saying the N-word 30 times before he goes on air just to get it out of his system. Nick Fuentes says it 30 times on air just to warm up the show, honestly, right? Like he's just like, that's right. I mean, the oldest person of this new right is maybe Gavin McInnes, the guy who like
Oh, he's out of here, dude.
no,
Nobody
like
cares.
he's out. No, but he's out of here. But like that's the blueprint. Like
Yeah.
Alex Jones and Gavin McInnes walked and shat their pants on air, so that Nick Fuentes and Jack Posobiec and your Laura Loomers and all these other ones come around. So that's the thing. The younger conservatives are like bad ditto copies of bad ditto copies of bad ditto copies. We're all bad ditto copies of like Rush Limbaugh. But now we're at the point where it's so bad that it's like, oops, all Graper. Like, like this isn't gonna work. It's now the right has that problem the left has, which is like, oh, you really think that's gonna work like electorally in America? Go for it, boss. Go for it. And you know what? That right wing, like if the if the Fred Hampton leftists, the Revolutionary Blackout Network, like those people, if they ran for office, maybe they get like 3%. One of these right wingers that are like straight out fascist Nazis using slurs all the time, they get 2% more, give or take. Like they'll still lose, but like this is America, so like they're gonna have a little bit of built-in advantage there. But like this is the end of the conservative movement. I think the conservatives know it. Like there's no fresh blood that's like going to win centrists. So they're just going to go deeper and deeper into the right-wing crazy train side. And they can't do that with media because media is just like too easy to amplify all the dumb shit. And this new generation doesn't know how to hide the dumb shit anymore. So they've just got to take the power and squeeze everything out of it that they can. That's why Trump is like, yeah, let me just install my guy at the Fed. That's why they're, looting the system. We're really seeing the system getting looted by rich people because they see it's the end.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like the further and further you go to these like right wing Graper types, like they don't vote. Like you can't motivate them to actually do voting. So yeah, like it's the end. And I think I said it after the Kirk shooting. Like he you can't replace him. Like he's just gone. Like that person is just gone now. Like Ben Shapiro cannot replace him. Obviously, like, yeah, Nick Fuentes can't replace him. Like, he's just gone. Steven Crowder can't replace him. Like, that guy is gone now. And it's a big hole in their strategy to get young people.
I know you didn't mean that, but keep going.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he's just gone now. And it's going to impact him a lot. And also, like, I think I said this before too, like, he's gone and, like, he's not going to have a legacy. Like, he's not going to, like, live on, dude. Like, you were just some guy on YouTube. Like, you're not going to be held up as some freaking, like, whatever. You're not going to be, like, people still say Walter Cronkite. Like, people still say that name because he's, like, has, like, a legacy in media. That's not gonna be Charlie Kirk, dude. Like
I was thinking, like Charlie Kirk is not gonna be in any history books.
No,
and honestly, that might be a big bet because it's America and this is crazy. I'd say the only way Charlie Kirk is in a history book is if the fascists, the guns blazing fascist takeover that Donald Trump tried to do this week with like cutting the First Amendment. And we didn't talk about the Kimmel thing. To me, if you're going to talk about the First Amendment being under attack, and we're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel and some cable news backroom dealings with like Nexstar and ABC and Disney and Sinclair Broadcasting, that's an attack on the First Amendment. Also, Mahmoud Khalil is getting deported again for protesting for Palestine.
Right.
And I'm just like, hey man, like I feel bad for you, Kimmel. I feel bad for you, Colbert. I'm gonna stop there before the conflict of interest, but like I feel bad for them, but they're rich. They'll be fine. They've been doing this very lucrative job for years, hosting late night shows and decades being, top level comedians. So like they'll be fine. They can make YouTube channels like the rest of us, and like they'll be fine, right? But it's the people like Mahmoud Khalil, which every conversation that we have about, you know, white men, be they on the left or on the right, with media platforms and the perception of their ability to be able to say whatever they want to. Like, that's the only way America can really conceptualize the First Amendment right now is, can my favorite white guy on TV say what he wants to?
Say the N-word.
Well, I mean, for the leftists, not necessarily. It's like, you know, generally speaking, like, you know, no one's going like, I can't wait till John Oliver says the N-word.
No, I'm saying like the like on the right, it's like, can he get up there and be racist? If anybody is upset about my favorite white person being racist, then this country is gone to hell. Remember how it used to be? Like, that's literally their ideology.
I want to read a super chat from Starch Manning. Thank you for sending. They say, this week a lot of Christian nationalists let the mask slip. Not about Jesus, Christianity, free speech, or democracy. Control and supremacy. Following up by saying the quote unquote polite Christians expose themselves.
Oh yeah. It doesn't take much though.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't take much. These same Christians you're talking about, they'd be exposed if their daughter brought home a black person for dinner. Like,
yeah.
It's in 2025.
Right.
In
right.
California.
Even if he's mixed.
Oh God. You just brought me to some flashbacks I don't want to go back to. So anyways, no, but yeah, like it's, you know, it's not that hard. I mean, like I had a relative who passed, and you know, it's that generation inside of my family to where the funeral proceedings are very, let's read scripture, and now let's read scripture, and now let's read scripture, and now let's read scripture. And like, it feels, even then, which is like not a whole culty experience, it's like, it's just like a thing for a family member, right? But like, it is, and I got no disrespect for religions in general, but when you see the way that they are so often weaponized to take people's inherent freedoms away, to take women's inherent freedoms away, to take children's inherent freedoms away, to take queer people's inherent freedoms away, you start to see the nature of it. And then you see all these different things like America was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and you read stuff from the founders and they all sound like atheists.
Right.
Like, I like, say what you will about Donald Trump. I want to say like one of the founding fathers literally wrote their own version of the Bible. Like maybe it was Ben Franklin or like John Adams or something, but like, it was literally like here's a Bible without all the God shit.
Right. Damn, which one was that? It might have been Ben Franklin, because I think he was kind of like atheistic. Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson too, yeah. I mean, awfully convenient for Thomas Jefferson to not believe in hell. Yeah,
he's, like, he's probably both our great uncle.
Oh, that's painfully real. But yeah, we think like, oh, if Donald Trump wrote his own Bible, we'd be like, yeah, that's kind of like the natural conclusion of things. But to the extent that the founding fathers cared about religion, they hated it. You know, like they wanted to be like as far away from politics as possible, because they just got rid of the Anglican Church and the British monarch and the intertwining of church and state that made it very difficult for, you know, Quakers and Puritans and the many diverse white religions that you had from the settlers in America that were fighting at the time. Yeah, it's very, very culty when you see people say like, oh, this is a Christian country, especially the Judeo-Christian part, which was only added after World War II. Because you try popping off that Judeo-Christianity good shit during the Great Depression.
They're like, you're a what?
Listen, I'll put it like this. Father John Coughlin was one of the most popular people in radio at the time in the 1930s during the Great Depression. And I wouldn't quite call him a Zionist, I wouldn't I wouldn't quite call him a liberal. He was anti-Semitic.
As hell.
He was anti-Semitic and like racist, and did it under the guise of being Catholic, right? Like
Right.
Father John Coughlin was like FDR stroke or falling down the stairs away from like, you know, basically making America into like a fascist country. If Germany already took the Nazi Germany thing already, then maybe America would be Starship Troopers.
There was a Charles Lindbergh Park not too far away from me for years, but they finally changed it.
Remind me who Charles Lindbergh was again?
He was a Nazi. He was an American Nazi. He's the airplane guy, though. But he was also a Hitler supporter.
Well, and they named a park after him in California.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like down the street. It was in Buena Park. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my
Well, I
boy.
mean-
I'm pretty sure my homie Jose Trinidad got it changed though.
Shout out to him. No, my the political science department in Berkeley was in a building named after a prominent racist.
There's a lot of that shit everywhere. In Fullerton, I don't know if it's still the name. I think they might have changed the name after BLM in 2020, but there was like an auditorium named after a KKK guy.
Very classic. No, I'm just reading here. Yeah. 4 racist buildings on Berkeley. Only 4. One of the famous ones, which is where the law school is, Bolt Hall, who worked to dehumanize those of Asian descent at the turn of the 20th century, speaking out against Chinese immigration. Which, you know, yeah, you read it far enough to anyone in California with their name on a building, and go to their name on Wikipedia and go to like the 1930s and 40s and look for opinions.
Yeah,
It's
we
not
still
even
got.
as-
As I said, we still got John Wayne Airport over here.
Santa Ana Airport. Wait, no, like no. True, like it wasn't even called controversies back then because they were just common opinions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I stayed at a bed and breakfast that had like a John Wayne room, and it was like, you know, like one of the nicest suites there. I'm like, do you have a photo of that award show where John Wayne basically goes upside a Native American woman's head almost? Like,
Crazy.
and the airport, yeah, no man. I could go after this very much. But
But it is
Yes,
getting
there's-
late here.
it is. I saw the time. Also, Squishmallow, thank you for the audio face plug. That's usually when we do audio face. We've been on like an on again, off again hiatus, and we will bring audio face back, but Sean is in an undisclosed location right now, busy and without his equipment. So it's going to be a couple of weeks until that. But we've got plenty of music for you ready for that. My setup is almost ready to do record BAM and for us to do our History of Islam Part 2.
Oh yeah.
So yes. Oh, reminded him of Jelly. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna try to do that after show or tomorrow is today, I guess. But no, I'm going to do that. Thank you for reminding me, Philippe. Thank you everyone for watching on the show. Shout out to everyone watching on this space. You're not seeing this Pod Power report on this space anyways, because they only take the first hour. But for those who are watching generally, please continue to do that and support that. It's good that we have some space in leftist media here because MS Now ain't gonna cut it. And you know, we did start 10 minutes late, so I guess we do have 7 more minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, thank you everyone for listening and watching. Thank you for all the crew in the background. Thank you for all the guests who couldn't be here but still tried. And once I get this up and going, yeah, the power is within you for now, but it feels hard to say every week, I'll be honest. All right, peace.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you, President Trump.